51.
Welcome to LoganRobo's channel, broadcasting live on twitch.tv/LoganRobo and on youtube.com/@LoganRobo. Tonight's game is The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. So let's stack on each other's shoulders and put on this trench coat here and pretend we're a lawyer. Thanks for tuning into twitch.tv/LoganRobo and youtube.com/@LoganRobo. Please enjoy the stream. And we are live! How is everybody doing? Welcome! Welcome. I'm gonna be honest, I almost canceled tonight's stream because, I don't know if you remember last time at Deltarune, I was saying I think I've got a bit of a sinus infection. It's a bit worse today, but I took a heavy-duty decongestant, and I still got a bunch more of those, and I've got some tissue paper if I need to wipe my nose, so I apologize in advance if I sound kind of gross. I don't feel sick other than that, but I'm very stuffed up. But how are all of you doing? How's your weekend been going? Let's take a look at the chat here. Over on Twitch, Extemporaneous was here early with a lurk and a random Transformers check. Nominus Prime. He was just one of the, in recent years, I think through the IDW comics of the previous lineage of Primes before Optimus that was added on there. Just not a great guy, that Nominus Prime. Not nominal, I suppose. But yeah, and also, would you rather have fortune or fame? Oh, this is an interesting one. I feel like fame, for two reasons. Number one, because if you do want both, I feel like fame can probably be more easily leveraged into fortune than fortune can necessarily be leveraged into fame. Because there's like a lot of rich people out there that you've like never heard of before. Now, if you want anonymity though, maybe you only want fortune. But for me, you guys know I'm a very introverted guy. I'm very socially awkward. And I feel like if I was super famous, then if I walked into like a cafe or something like that, and I look around all the people instead of thinking like, oh, I wish I was friends with everyone here, everyone would want to be friends with me. That's what I would want, I think. I just want to be famous so that I can have friends. But thank you for lurk, Extemporaneous, Oak saying hey longa, and then the whole command in lurk trying to switch from Premiere to DaVinci Resolve. Is DaVinci Resolve free? I'm trying to remember. And Tiff, thank you so much for re-upping the sub. How are you? 51 months. Thank you, Tiff. How are you doing? How's your weekend going? Kwigate says howdy. Magpie says caw. Magpie flied in. How we doing, chat? I'm doing pretty well, other than the cold. And Vex says hello. I am here on time. Welcome, Vex. Let me take a look at YouTube chat. Grim was here very early, saying, hey, Logan, you're not streaming yet, but I joined early so I could be first because you are my favorite streamer and beloved cult leader. Well, thank you for choosing me as your favorite streamer. I still deny all allegations of cult leadership. Says Logan is the best. Little Lizard says I don't have Mantis on YouTube, so Lizard is the best I could do. I'm trying to remember if I've added Mantis as one of the YouTube emotes. I know I had fewer slots for them, and I think we only have like 3 members. It's like Tiff, Rulsey, and Castle. But they're there. And Grim says, haha, the pinned message. I was here before the pinned message. Dermo says, hi, how you doing, Dermo? Grim says, hey, Dermo. I was here before the pinned message. Dermo says, cool. Grim says, yes. Hey, so I got to what I believe is one of the final bosses of Chapter 5 of Deltarune. Okay, cool, Jim, make sure, now I said this on Discord, make sure that you don't, like, spoil anything. Like, don't give any details, because I am going in blind, but I hope you're enjoying it, and congrats on making it. The Dermo says, neat, just make sure not to spoil, and Grim says, I won't. Also, where did Logan leave off on Friday? We finished the Eastern Wing with orange and all those guys, and now we're doing the West Wing with yellow. We haven't seen blue yet, but we're gathering evidence for yellow, if that makes sense. And Grim says, I left like 30 minutes before stream ended. Aquid's amazing. They're my favorite character. Dibba said he left off shortly after entering yellow door after doing the right side first. And Grim says, okay, I won't say anything after that point then. And Dibba says, wow, the Monokuma on the opening screen is subtle. I've been here for like over a year and just noticed that. It's supposed to be a prison tat. For some reason, like, it was requested added, and I don't know, somebody said a tattoo, so I put it as like a teardrop tattoo on Akechi's face. But again, how is everybody doing? I'm excited to see y'all. I'm excited to play some more. I actually remember very little of the case we did last time. I think I was too caught up in the whimsy of Susato pretending to be a boy. So let's go ahead and load up game where we left off and see if we can figure out what the heck we're doing here. I seem to remember our friend, Ray Membami, not Membari, even though I keep wanting to say that because of Babylon 5, has been accused of the murder of Jezeel Brett, right? It was in like a little hut by the beach. And I think Ray was a former student. So correct me if I'm misremembering anything. Former student of John Wilson, whom Jezeel Brett had murdered. And so the prosecution is taking the position that this was revenge for it. And we just presented some type of evidence. I don't remember what it was. Maybe we can look at our history and see what had happened here. I don't even remember. There's something. We have witnesses over there. We got Hosanaga, and we have... now I remember what it is. We have Hosanaga, and we have Soseki Natsume. And what they were saying is they walked in and saw her with a knife, and it looked like she had stabbed Jezeel Brett like multiple times. And so we're saying, no, autopsy said she was stabbed once, and so if you saw her with the knife in her hand and blood already on it, that can only mean that she was pulling the knife out. Now, the prosecution's gonna say, like, yeah, she had ample opportunity to pull it out because she's the one who put it in. But I feel like we should just say, okay, then prove it. Prove it. Like, give us proof of that. We don't pull that card enough. Prosecution's always asking us for proof of innocence. We should ask for proof of guilt. But I'm gonna read a couple more quick comments, then we'll get going here. Let's see. Queen Katie says, if anybody wonders, we're halfway into page 1. And how many pages did you say this case is on your thing there? Queen Katie, is it 2? So does that mean we're about a quarter of the way through the first case? Queen Katie says, don't die, Logan! In the game, or of my cold. Excuse me. Again, it's a light cold, but I'll probably need to, like right now, occasionally dab my nose. It's just kind of runny. Vex says, oh, hang on. Hey, ouchie. I haven't clicked anything yet. Vex says, Logan, what do you think of this very Yuri-ful first case so far? Well, it's interesting because it's like Rei is in love with Susato, but only when she thinks Susato is a boy. And so it's like a gender-bending love triangle type of a thing. It's the type of thing you'd see in an anime where it's like, oh, I love this person who's a boy, but I don't know she's a girl. So it's like, surprise Yuri, or something like that. It's nice. It's a fun little start off the case. Having Susato be the lawyer is an enjoyable little surprise. How are y'all enjoying it here? Okay, so was he saying, when the accused first plunged the deadly weapon into the victim, that was the fatal blow. And it was that moment, just as she had withdrawn the blade, ready for her next strike, that the witnesses saw. The knife was already tainted with blood because the accused had already stabbed the victim. Again, we should just say, okay, where's your proof? All you have successfully shown with your little display is that the mustached author, should it be mustachioed? I always want to say mustachioed instead of mustache, is prone to moments of extravagance. Oh, okay, I'll take that, because then that means that we can't trust his testimony. Oh, and also we met, you can't see because my camera screen is in the way, but we also met Mr. Turtle, Hosanaga's disguise. Maybe she's not a boy or a girl. Is she a dog? Like a talking dog? Is that a thing? I am in agreement with the prosecution. If the defendant was seen wielding the blade at all, that is sufficient grounds for her actions to be viewed with suspicion. But if she was withdrawing the blade, then we are back where we started. Sorry. Consider this, young yokel boy. If the student girl is innocent as you claim, then why would she have pulled the blade from the victim, and with a demon's cold-blooded composure, too? Maybe she was trying to help, which, again, doesn't help. If you see someone stabbed, chat, don't pull the knife out. The prosecution demands an explanation, and it had better be good.
Why did Ray pull out the knife?
Ah, yes. Going for the jugular.
Huh? What does Father mean by that?
Let the court hear your answer then, counsel.
The truth is, I don't really know. But I have to come up with a plausible reason here, or we don't have a case.
Yeah, I feel like 99% of the problems we have with our cases in these games would be solved if we just, like, talked to our clients beforehand and just asked follow-up questions. Like, what were you doing there? What'd you do? Okay, so you had the knife. Why did you do that? Then we wouldn't have to come up with it on the fly. We could just answer things. Well, I'm going to read a couple comments in the chat because obviously I don't have an answer to this question either. Let's see. Queen Katie says, oh, by the way, I forgot to share a fun fact. When we were finishing the first game and started this one, there was actually a popularity poll. Oh, we can see who's the most popular character on Twitter back when the first game came out. And I'm going to share the results. I want to hear this. Oak says, DaVinci Resolve has a free and paid version, but the free version has almost full functionality. Okay, so as long as it's not putting like watermarks all over things or like limiting resolution or something like that. The popularity polls by Queen Katie was held from July 23rd through August 7th, 2015. Fans voted using Twitter, and we ended up with the results based on the number of retweets. 1, Kazuma. The character who dies in between the first and two cases was the most popular? Oh yeah, this was after the first game came out, so this got to be before the second game, so we wouldn't even know yet what his unfinished business in England, really, like, plain aura is enough to carry you that far. Wow. Number 2, Herlock. That's who I would have thought would be number 1, is Herlock. 3, Van Zeeks. 4, Ryunosuke. 5, Hosanaga. 6, Iris. 7, Wagahai. 8, Susato. You're telling me that Hosanaga and the cat both ranked higher than Susato? I mean, Susato isn't like a brilliant, groundbreaking character, but she's still like a major character in this. Then Quick says in parentheses, yes, a cat ranked higher than her. 9, Natsume. 10, Gina. I actually thought Gina would have been higher than that. 11, Magnus. 12, Takesuchi. Ouchie. And then 4, Nicolina. 15, Gregson. Oh, poor Gregson. 15, Strongheart. And 16, Biff Stroganoff. Or 16, it was, yeah, 16 was Biff Stroganoff. Wow. What an interesting I'm assuming below there, I don't know if that's where it cuts off and no other characters cut. So you must have been able to vote for like anybody then, I guess. Because there were a lot more characters than just that. But wow, what an eclectic, but I kind of like that it's weird and unexpected. I always find it boring when you have a popularity poll and it's just like the obvious choices getting the top picks. Let me take a look over the YouTube chat. Oh my goodness, there's so much chatting on YouTube. Oh, wow. Okay, I gotta scroll back up. Let's see. Germo says, wow. Oh, I already read that. Grim says, Ryunosuke is innocent. I killed the guy, not him. And Dermo says, nah, Fortune. Don't want to be famous for anything or even most things. I want a niche and dedicated crowd. With money, I could do projects I want and hopefully get an audience that way. Well, here's the thing. If I had a satisfying home life, like if I settled down, got married, having a couple of kids, then at that point, I think, yeah, just Fortune so that we could live comfortably. I could spend more time with family, not have to focus so much on work. Yeah. But I feel like the direction things are going, Fortune would not help me get a girl. And I would like a girl. Derma says, put another way, even if I got a general audience, I don't know if that would bode well with releasing death metal or avant-gardenia jazz. I need a specific type of fame. Avant-gardenia. That's a genre? Said if we talk to our clients and more importantly, they mention the important stuff and didn't lie. I know, like, stuff like this. If we had talked to her beforehand, say, what happened? I went in there, I saw it, I pulled out the knife, these two people walked in, then we could say, yeah, why did you have the knife? What were you trying to do? Were you trying to help out? I mean, this would be important to know before the prosecution brings it up. Yeah. And Grim with some little lizard emotes, and Derma says, oh, guard, not gardenia. Spanish autocorrect out here, making new genres. Okay, I thought it was like an avant-garde type of, I don't know, something else genre. Anyway, let's play a little bit more, then I'll be back to both chats soon. But I have to come up with a plausible reason here, or we don't have a case. Well, again, we could just ask Ray. The reason why the defendant pulled the blade out of the victim's body was surely so she could stab her again. Hang on. I have no choice here. I have to click that. Like, it's a compulsion in me. Just be glad that I have enough restraint to save first. To stab her again.
Well, this is only one possible answer, but could it have been so she could stab the victim again?
See, the problem is we said again, because that implies she already did it. Because if she was dead, if Giselle Brett was dead, they probably wouldn't care. Yeah, stab a dead body. All you want is like you're kind of weird. You're a weirdo, but you're not killing anybody. You're not hurting anyone. Already dead. Not gonna super kill her. Pardon?
Isn't there a saying, if someone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to him the left also, and then stab that cheek as well?
Ryutaro, what are you saying? Or rather, what are you doing? Do you realize what a hole you're digging?
Oh, why did I dig a hole?
It must be the pressure of being here. I'm starting to say things I don't mean.
Quite a slap in the face for the woman you represent, you yokels and your heavy-handed ways. No, I did it. That was just an example. A mere musing. I didn't mean that's what happened.
I suggest you take a moment to consider your answer next time before you speak counsel.
Oh, yes, Your Excellency. Thank you for allowing me another chance.
Okay, so now we'll reload so I get that hit point back, but I had to see what happened. I needed to see how convinced she'd be of her own argument. All right, let's load it back up. I think the one option was to hide the knife, the other was to save her life. I'm gonna guess to save her life. Hide the knife might make sense if you walk in and it's like, oh no, someone's gonna think I did, I better hide the knife. But I'm gonna say to save her life. She's gonna think that pulling it out would somehow help, even though in real life it would not.
According to the post-mortem report, the victim's death was not instant.
That's correct. It's thought she would have remained conscious for a short while after sustaining the injury.
Indeed, giving her the time to take hold of this piece of evidence that clearly indicates her killer. The point is, being a medical research assistant, Membami-san was compelled to act when faced with a wounded victim. Instinctively, she pulled the blade out in an attempt to save Miss Brett's life.
Okay, yeah, that's right. She's a medical student. I forgot.
Who? Did you hear that, Your Excellency? It would seem this is the best we can expect of this young yokel.
Oh, indeed.
Is it just me? Or does it suddenly feel much colder in here?
Are they gonna actually bring up that pulling the knife out is worse for the victim's health?
Your Excellency, if I may.
Speak, witness!
I would like another opportunity to testify. In respect to the slipshod assertion just put forward by the Yokel Defense Counsel, I mean, now he's even calling me a yokel.
Slipshod?
Okay, so I guess that was the correct answer to choose since we're getting into a new testimony. I didn't lose hit points. But yeah, I think we still made a bad argument.
An excellent idea, Inspector.
The smart thing would have just been to ask, right?
Our young yokel hopeful has a modicum of knowledge when it comes to the law, it seems. But in matters of medicine, he appears to possess not one iota of common sense.
Very well, Inspector. I will permit your request. You will testify again before the court on the subject of the defense counsel's assertion.
Yes, sir.
A little bounce on Mr. Turtle's head.
I will do so flawlessly.
All right, less than 20 minutes in the stream, we already made it to a testimony. How's that? Is that a record? Forensic Medicine Primer. All right, let's read some chat again. Queen says, "Gah, not the Waga High typo." Wait, how'd you? Oh, you wrote without the A's. Guy said, "I had this written out ages ago. Why is it always when you post it that you see the typos?" It's the same thing for me. Like anytime I write something long and written out, I can go over it with a fine tooth comb like 5-6 times. That like right after I post it or send it, there's errors. It happens all the time. Like with the videos I post on TikTok, so many of those, the captions will have like typos and things. I usually try to catch them and at least fix them before I repost them onto YouTube. Magpie says, "Nothing like when your racist rival prosecutor ranks higher in the popularity polls than the protagonist." I mean, Van Zeeks is he's situationally racist. How about that? I mean, it's better than some of the people like Giselle Brett, who was just like wholesale Racist. Quickita says, for real, I'm trying to see if there was a second poll for this game to see if anything changed after that. There is a great Ace Attorney Chronicles poll that happened in 2021, and the results are hilarious. Does it have new characters? Are we able to see that, though? So simply put, on that one, Susato plays 7th, while Ryutaro is 10th? Oh, they treated them as different characters? Oh, that's funny. Says there was clear bias in the 2021 poll, by the way. They had a limit of 18 characters to choose from, meaning poor Wagahai couldn't sweep them all. Magpie says hilarious as Susato got 2 entries. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't, like, just combine them all into one vote. Says giving Daniel and the cooler Daniel. Let me take a look over to YouTube chat. Dermo says avant-garde gardening. Avant-garde gardening. Oh, it was just posted twice. Rivulet, the music that's just for flowers. That's the music that all of our new friends in Deltarune would have. Which, by the way, I had like a dream last night about Deltarune. It was a dream about, like, speculating on what Blue's appearance is going to be. Obviously, please don't tell me anybody. We'll talk about that more on Tuesday. Just as a heads up, by the way, advanced warning. I think I mentioned this last time as well. This upcoming week, one of the streams, probably on Friday, I think I'm going to have to cancel because of a work thing. So just to let you know. Dura says, I know animals like music. I don't know about flowers. I've heard there have been, like, studies where they play, like, soothing music for flowers when watering them. And supposedly it might have beneficial things. Now, I don't know if it's actually the music or maybe there's just something about sound waves, like helping the water flow. I don't know. Speaking of water, though, I'm going to have a quick sip of water, and then we'll get back into the game.
Pulling a blade from a wound without thinking could cause heavy bleeding.
Yeah, I mean, Ryutaro wouldn't know about heavy bleeding, because Ryutaro's a boy. Boys don't heavy bleed. You know, if there was a girl here, she might know about but there's not a girl. It's just Ryutaro.
That's basic knowledge that any medical research assistant with an ounce of sense ought to know. In other words, there's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife from the victim. Let's not forget that the young student did have a motive for killing the victim. The man the victim murdered 9 months ago, Dr. Wilson, was the defendant's highly respected mentor.
So we'll probably press everything and maybe get some more elaboration on no possible motive. Maybe we'll find something else, and then that we'll be able to attack it.
Is what you said true, Inspector? Could pulling a knife from a wound really cause the wound to bleed heavily?
Thank you, game, for doing this. Thank you. Too much you see in like movies where it's like, oh, I got stabbed. Well, here, let me pull the knife out. Okay, now you can limp. You'll have a limp for 2 scenes, then you'll be normal again.
Yes, think of the weapon itself as a stopper in the wound that prevents excessive blood loss. Until a doctor is ready to provide proper treatment, that stopper shouldn't be removed.
Oh, I see.
Huh, this is why yokels should stay on the farm. Even a quack from some obscure mountain village would have such basic knowledge. What? Anyone who's ever given someone a little poke with a knife and pulled it out again knows it.
Have you done that, Ouchie? I have never poked someone with a knife, let alone done so and pulled it out. Chat, show of hands. Who here has ever done that? Makes it sound like this is a common thing. Or am I just left out? Are you guys poking each other with knives and not inviting me?
Oh, well, I've never stabbed anyone using...
Okay, Susato hasn't also. She and I could be non-stabbing buddies.
Or pulled a blade out of a wound, so...
Of course you haven't. I didn't bring you up to behave like a bandit.
Father, is it true what they're telling me?
Yes, it's basic remedial knowledge for medics. Ray would have been well aware of it. If she were to claim ignorance of such fundamentals, that would prove fatal in many ways.
But then, why would Ray have done it?
Ask her!
Could she have pulled out that knife in full knowledge that it would be fatal for Miss Brett?
I don't know.
Ray never once mentioned anything about the knife to me. It seems almost impossible to believe.
But, okay, so that makes it sound like that Ray did tell us what happened and that she didn't have the knife in her hand? So unless they confused her with somebody else.
Could my friend actually...
No, have faith in your friend, Susato!
Susato!
Yes?
Pull yourself together.
we mustn't lose sight of why we're here. Counsel! It's time for your cross-examination! Are you done having inner doubt and turmoil?
Oh, yes, Your Excellency.
However, I must warn you that if your cross-examination fails to identify any issue with the established facts, I will be moving to my adjudication immediately afterwards. I wonder if they adjusted any of Ryunosuke's animations for her, if they just, like, copied them over wholesale.
I understand. Believing in your clients and fighting for their cause until the bitter end. I knew it would be hard, but I had no idea it would be this hard. I just very easily believe my childhood friends are murderers.
Cross-examination! Forensic medicine primer. All right, y'all know the deal. We press every statement, then figure out what evidence we're going to be presenting, but first we got to save the game. And let's also read a couple more comments in the chat, because I'm getting farther and farther behind. Oak says, yeah, as far as I know, the only major limitations for a free DaVinci Resolve is a lack of some advanced features. But those advanced features are very unnecessary for most people. Only one that kind of sucks is the auto caption. That's only the pro version. Oh, darn it, yeah, because I do automatic transcription before going in and correcting all the typos and mistakes and things. Let's see, Quiga says, yeah, if you include even the most minor characters, you could end up with quite the results. I should know, the Fire Emblem Gacha does this every year for special units, and it's a 50-50 chance it's an insanely popular character for fan service, or someone who actually deserves it. You could vote for literally any Fire Emblem character in history. Well, they always have tons. I feel like that unless you do some sort of a ranked choice thing, that's gonna make it so that, like, the truly popular characters, because there might be somebody who's, like, everybody's second choice. But, so everybody loves this character, but then like half the people have some other characters their first choice, and then the other half have like some obscure nobody as their first choice, and so then like, I don't know. I'm not a pollster. Queen says including the OCs in the gacha game, which I think is unfair, but whatever. Shiro says, imagine a client telling everything was from the start. Lol, how you doing, Shiro? Is that where you walked in? How are you? Oak says, Queen Katie, yeah, without spoiling anything, the One Piece World popularity poll that happened recently, a character named Rockstar got 34th place above countless beloved and very popular characters, and he literally has one tiny scene and then never shows up again. Haven't you said that there's like characters that you haven't even like seen that people have just mentioned or things like that, and it wasn't even an important scene, it was just him talking to someone briefly, didn't even say anything important. And Shiro says, let's stab her again! No, because that implies we already stabbed her. Shiro, let me take a look over to YouTube chat. Jorma says, yokels. I don't know what that means. Yoked is to be on drugs, but I think that's what he's referring to. I thought yoked was being like buff, like you're yoked up. I don't know where it came from. I was assuming maybe because like eating egg yolks because high in protein or something like that. Or maybe it's because like you put on a yolk, like not an egg yolk, but like a yolk for like beasts of burden, like oxen. And so it means you're really strong. Yokel, and maybe this is like an American term, but a yokel is kind of like it's like a redneck. It's like a hillbilly. It's some backwoods person who's very like doesn't know modern stuff very well. If that makes sense. The most common example that I can think of the use of it is on The Simpsons, where you have Cletus, the kind of redneck guy in the overalls, and they refer to him as Cletus, the slack-jawed yokel. And so yeah, it's like a backwoodsy. I don't know. I hope redneck and hillbilly aren't that offensive. I mean, I know that they're kind of derogatory terms, but I don't think anyone like uses them too seriously these days. So does that make sense? Grim says, lizard. Oh, I gotta scroll up a little bit. It just scrolled without me. Oh, I gotta scroll up. There we go. And Derpa says, okay, but it's do not remove the blade. Leave that to medical professional. If she's medically trained, for all we know, she could have been trained tending to the wound, which is justify the rule. Okay, that's a good point. Huh?
Yes. But at this point in One Piece there is only really two major characters who I've seen as a silhouette and not their actual character design. We've gotten two major design reveals in the current arc going on, major characters who were silhouetted for like 10 years and their design somehow lived up to
lived up to the hype. Well, here's a follow-up question then, because okay, so the designs lived up to the hype, which is good. Have they had any where like the design ends up looking not at all like the silhouette, like a completely different shape, and it's like, okay, clearly Oda changed his mind at some point about what this character is supposed to look like, and he's able to like fly by the seat of his pants enough to come with an excuse like, this person just lost a lot of weight or something like that. But thank you very much for the 10 bits. Thank you. Okay, let's play a little bit more, and then I will read some more chat. But I'm behind in both chats. But I'm just happy that so many of you guys are here. I look forward to this. Like, I love having like some days off, like, you know, Wednesdays and Saturdays, because sometimes I need to like recoup, but I always miss seeing you guys, and then I just look even more forward to hanging out with you some more. Okay.
Pulling a blade from a wound without thinking could cause heavy bleeding.
Hold it!
You say doing it without thinking could be a problem.
Oh, but this goes to what Dermo was saying, that if she is a medical student, that's almost a medical professional, maybe it was the type of thing that she realized, oh, I need to treat this wound, and I have to remove the blade to do it, because it's like, if it's up to the doctor's discretion, she's kind of a doctor. So yeah, I do feel like this is the type of thing where the reasonable thing, instead of saying like, all right, let's figure out this, I'd say, okay, well, let's call my client up, although you often don't want your client to testify.
Okay, well that definitely did happen with two of them. One of them was clear that Toda just changed his mind on the goofy silhouette for one of them, but the other was intentionally shaped like a blob in their silhouette to retain maximum mystery. But all the new designs this arc have been so good.
Okay, well, I don't have too much of a problem with that, because that series has been going on so long. Obviously, plans change. What I think is really funny is that, to relate it to Transformers, because that's all I know, there's a series Transformers Animated, which is like one of the best. It's like top 3, one of the best Transformers animated cartoons. And it was American made, but when they showed in Japan, they made a new opening animation for it, for the theme song. And it's really, really good. But at one point in the opening animation, they show like a silhouette of like a sinister, evil looking person kind of going over the planet and like, you know, and it's clearly meant as just a symbolic like, oh, evil is lurking out there. Now see, the hero is gonna go fight evil. But invariably, at like every few conventions, there's always somebody who's gonna ask a question anytime there's like an animated panel someone worked on. It's like, who was that character? Who is it supposed to be? And first of all, they'll say it's like, well, I worked on the show in America. Japan made that up. And it was not anybody. It was just a stylistic choice. So yeah, sometimes silhouettes can have, I think, some creative leniency. But thank you for the 10 bits.
You say doing it without thinking could be a problem. Does that mean that if you use due care and attention, it would be all right? I really want to pull some knives out of people. Now that you guys are talking about it, it sounds like fun. I wouldn't have thought this needed spelling out, really, but...
Oh, I just realized, because that's what he used to do to himself just normally, but he's petting Mr. Turtle. Look, his head is bobbing. Like, boing. Mr. Turtle seems to not like it. Chad is... Mr. Turtle's not dead, is he? I haven't seen him blink. I don't think Mr. Turtle is breathing. Did he strap a dead turtle to his head?
The blade is like a stopper in the wound. Remove it and serious hemorrhage will occur. In other words, a medic would need to be present before any attempt was made to withdraw the blade. Doing it without thinking would be madness. You just can't do it. Oh, well, thank you for such a thorough explanation. You see, Counsel, when you act without thinking, the result is a bloodbath.
Back to the witness testimony, please.
That's basic knowledge that any medical research assistant with an ounce of sense ought to know.
Hold it!
In that case, there's an obvious explanation here. Which is... clearly, the defendant, Rei Membami-san, does not possess an ounce of sense.
We're gonna get her kicked out of medical school. Granted, that's probably preferable to execution. But we're... yeah, even the music is just cut out.
What do you think about that, Professor Mikotoba?
I'm not sure that you should be labeling your best friend as lacking in common sense.
Well, I thought it'd be better than labeling her as a murderer. Besides, did I tell you I have a new best friend? Ryunosuke. And a new bestest best friend. Sherlock Sholmes. I don't know, young people today. If that's friendship, I don't understand it.
Whoa! Is this a new animation for the judge? The judge threatening us? Careful, counsel. A lack of common sense can be a very dangerous thing.
Oh dear. That recoiled on me rather badly.
Yeah, have we ever seen that animation before?
Wow.
That's life, I'm afraid. A lesson everyone must learn. Don't throw your friend under the bus?
Hopefully you can see now that this really is basic medical knowledge. Being involved in medical research, Membami-san would certainly have been aware of it.
I still want to say Membari. Got too much Babylon 5 on the mind.
In other words, there's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife from the victim.
Hold it!
Hold it!
But the defendant had suddenly encountered somebody she knew lying on the ground bleeding to death. The sight could have shocked her delicate sensibilities, causing her to remove the blade inadvertently.
Love how delicate sensibilities, it's such like a sexist way to say it's like she's a lady. Don't expect ladies to know what they're doing, and it's coming from a lady.
I really don't think inadvertent actions can explain this. The woman is a medical research assistant. I can't imagine she would behave so irrationally. But she is a woman. We are irrational. I mean, women are irrational. Oh, hate women, so just need to slap them on the bottom and tell them to get me a sandwich from the kitchen. I'm a boy. Oh, but irrational behavior is a woman's prerogative.
I should have looked at what she's saying. It is just as sexist as what I was pretending. Well, maybe not just as sexist. I said open-handed slap on the bottom. I mean, I could have gone further and said a little squeeze at the end, but no.
But irrational behavior is a woman's prerogative, isn't it? Oh dear, you have a lot to learn about women.
This is a lot of fun. They seem to be enjoying writing this whole scenario here.
Only a small-minded man could have such a bigoted view. Oh dear, I'm a bigot! Perhaps I'm letting my male persona take a hold a little too much. Well, have I managed to convey the basics now? That should cover the medical side of the argument.
Also, Natsume is just chilling over there. We still haven't seen his photographer in a little while. Let me read some more comments in the chat. We got two more statements to press, and then we'll figure out where we're presenting evidence. We still haven't even reintroduced the gimmick of looking at what the other people's reactions are, so I'm assuming Natsume is not going to chime in with something unless this is going to be to introduce that. Let's see. Queen Katie says, did Rockstar at least have a cool design? Oh, the character that Oak was talking about. Magpie says, I love it when the Phantom goes, you know, Blorbo from the 1 3-second scene. That's my favorite, dude. I do that all the time. With like Transformers, they have literally thousands of characters. They have so many Blorbos. And thank you for using the shortened term Blorbo and not the full Star Wars term of glup. You know, but yes, because there's so many little characters, especially like if they have toys, because then they'll have like a bio on the back of their toy box, and it'll like or the toy card, depending on how big it is, and it'll like explain the personality. It's like, oh, this is such a fun character. I love this character. And then the character shows up in the background. You're like, there's the character I got the toy of. There he is. Oh, and he just got killed. Oh, that is sad. But he was there for like 3 seconds, and wow, that was cool. Shiro says, 100% deserved. Oak said to Queen Katie, not really. No cooler than any other One Piece character. Shiro says, stabbing a dead body would be mutilation of a corpse. But is that really hurting anybody? And this is not as bad as murder, at the very least. Like, okay, Shiro, if you had to be convicted of a crime, you could be convicted of murder? Or like, mutilating a little corpse. You know, it's like one is a capital offense and one's not. Not that I'm encouraging mutilation, of course. I'm just saying that if you're on like a forked path and you only have 2 options, like if you get kidnapped and someone puts a gun to your head and they're like, all right, you must choose either murder this person or mutilate that corpse. Go for the mutilating the corpse. It's not gonna murder anybody, okay? Like, but outside of that hypothetical, just don't do either. Let me take a look over the YouTube chat. Shiro says, the polls are hilarious. Love seeing Waga Eye so high. Taco says, hello, how you doing, Taco? Shiro says, but you can't look at it because there is spoilers, the results, so I'll wait till you finish to look. Oh, for this games, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I look forward to it, though. Durma says, funny how the translation tanked my opinion of Gina. Darn you, translation team. Hi, Taco. And Taco says, I'm having a great day. Oh, good. Reveal says, what did they look like in your dream? Blue, I mean, he was like a round floating disc. I think because in my dream I was trying to go like, okay, what body type have we not seen yet? And that's like what I established, a round floating disc, like a big blue coin with like a face on it. So that's what blue's gonna be. Taco says, Dermo, you were not very excited by my arrival. Dermo said hi, and Dermo says, Taco, nah, I'm just tired. Shira says, imagine being excited about somebody's arrival. And Taco says, anyways, I'm not gonna be able to stay. I'm very sleepy, broken. Oh, I'm sorry, but thank you for popping in. Dermo says, night. Grim says, hey, so. But yeah, so have a good rest of your night, Taco. Thank you for being here for at least a little bit. Let's finish off this cross-examination, and then I'll chat with y'all some more. But yeah, let me have a sip of water. That's the other thing about being sick. Even though it's only a sinus infection, I'm still much thirstier than usual.
Let's not forget that the young student did have a motive for killing the victim.
Hold it!
Whatever the motive, it just isn't in Membami-san's nature to do something so awful. But she had both motive and opportunity. That's very hard to argue against. But you don't know the defendant.
Objection!
Bravo!
And you, counsel, do not appear to know the law. Huh? Yes, evidence is the only way to convince the court of your argument, not feelings.
Did he just pull a facts don't care about your feelings?
My favorite niche One Piece character is a tie between Tonite, Yamato's boobs, and Starfunkel. Tonite is the old guy on stilts from a long ring long land who nobody remembers. Yamato's boobs are quite literally an anthropomorphized version of another character's huge man boob.
And Sarfunkel is the wife of Gaimon. She's stuck in a barrel while he's stuck in a treasure chest. Oh, I've seen a picture of her! I love the idea that... So I have a question about Yamato's boobs. Are these, like, do they appear in the comic as a separate character? Do the boobs have, like, a face on them? Are they, like, a vestigial twin that are just very boob-like? Or is it just some fans just love that rack so much that they're like, no, the rest of the character, no, just the booba. Just the booba is all that I like. I'm curious about the logistics there, but thank you very much for the 10 bits. I appreciate that, Oak.
With this fledgling to defend her, I would almost say I pity the accused. Oh, so do I.
Inspector, you will reiterate your point about the defendant's motive, please. Oh, wait, does that mean, is he adding something to the testimony?
Yes. Miss Brett was in many ways the sworn enemy of Membami-san.
No, we're just using that as a transition to the next one. Okay.
The man the victim murdered 9 months ago, Dr. Wilson, was the defendant's highly respected mentor.
Hold it!
I'm gonna be honest though, even if like my favorite teacher from school was murdered, I'd be sad, but I wouldn't take like vigilante revenge. I wouldn't. I'm sorry, old teachers from school.
Well, yes, that's true. Dr. Wilson recognized Membami-san's talent and offered her the position of assistant despite her being a woman. He was, for some reason, not sexist. Am I right, fellas? Oh, what a weirdo. She was extremely grateful to him. Yes, the Englishman appears to have been a very broad-minded individual when it comes to broads and their minds.
I see what you did there. That was good, Osanaga. Dr. Wilson had no time for outdated traditions, huh?
In some of Otis Q&A segments, people ask for human versions of inanimate objects like swords, which actually end up giving some cool insight into the real bladesmith who created the sword, but after a certain point it started devolving into someone asking him to anthropomorphize a character's
gigantic man boobs, although people do also love his boobs, but the anthropomorphized version is only the okay, so when you say anthropomorphized, it is actually like a humanized version. I think I remember there was a while where I was getting like some random Oda Q&As on my social media feed for characters I had no idea, but I feel like about a surprisingly high percentage of them were always asking about the devil fruit's effects on their... That's what they're called, right? The devil fruits, like the fruit they eat that give them like the gum stretchy and the chop thing that Buggy the Clown has. Their effects on their junk. It's like, does that stretch out? Can that chop off and be reattached and things like that? So it's good to know that the fans have branched out. from just that tiny niche. I'm not tiny. It's a good sized niche. It's a very respectable sized niche. Not that the size of that niche matters, but it is a satisfactorily sized niche. Dr. Wilson had no time for outdated traditions. He met with opposition, of course, but he believed firmly in Membami-san's abilities.
Clearly, the defendant was in the man's debt, which only serves to prove my point.
Huh?
A solid 80% of all SBS questions are about junk and or boobs or other weird freaky stuff. That's how we know that Soral's boobs are bigger than Namus and the second biggest in the entire series.
So it's kind of like Hajime from Danganronpa 2. Although I guess you never played Danganronpa 2. They released a chest size chart, and somehow Hajime, that's why Crystal has Hajime's big badonkers, was like at 86 centimeters or something like that. And I think Junko Enoshima from the first game, I think, was even smaller than that, which makes no sense whatsoever. It's magic. It's magic booba. But thank you very much for the 10 bits.
Which only serves to prove my point.
Okay, so nothing was added.
This is hopeless. I can't find a single crack in his testimony anywhere. If Rain knew that withdrawing the knife from the wound would threaten Miss Brett's life further, I just can't think of any way to explain why she did it.
Susato, it's at times like these that a lawyer must force his greatest smile. People down the line will think of that. It's especially important to remember the fundamentals.
The fundamentals?
Evidence is what counts in the courtroom, isn't it?
Of course! But I've been through the court record dozens of times already.
I think perhaps you're forgetting something, though. You needn't take the evidence at face value. You can and must examine it in greater detail, too.
Have we not been able to examine some of the stuff? Because, yeah, I can't examine the pen. I tried to. And we could do this, but this just shows us the picture doesn't let us revolve it. Or maybe after this, we'll get to, like, examine the pen and rotate it around or something like that.
Ah!
I realize this is your first time playing the role of lawyer in the courtroom, so if you need reminding of the rudiments, you need only ask. I'll do my very best to help.
Examine the evidence in the court record? It's an idea, certainly. What should I do?
I know what to do.
Come to think of it, Kazuma-sama and Naruhodo-san were always turning evidence over and over in their hands. Yes, I need to examine things in greater detail with space.
By the look in your eyes, there's a TTS.
Just checked. Soral's chest size is 110 centimeters or 43.3 inches, bigger than even Hajime's.
That is massive. Now, granted, like, you see, there are some One Piece characters that are just, like, large. Skeletally large. But Zoro, I don't think as one of them. But you know what? It's maybe physics and measurements are just different. Maybe they're One Piece universe centimeters, which are different than regular universe centimeters, and they're different on boys versus girls. I don't know. I don't know how it works. But think of the 10 bits, but he's got a bountiful bosom. And think of the 10 bits.
By the look in your eyes, I can see it's coming back to you. Go through the court record again and have a thorough look at everything. You may just find a clue.
Yes, I'll do it straight away.
Okay, so let's see if it will let us look at things now. Okay. Oh, now there's that magnifying glass was not there. Okay, so we're gonna find some with the pen. RM. Okay, that's Ray Membami, so, but there's a symbol on the end, and we'll probably be able to pop the cap off. Maybe we'll see it's all coated in blood. Let's see what we can click first. Can we click the inscription?
The RM initials are very clearly engraved here.
Oh, I like her character portrait. She, other than her eyelashes, it looks like she's trying very hard to look like a boy. Good for her. Huh?
Zoro is actually shorter than me, has 181 centimeters or 5 feet 11 inches. I'm 6'2", and ironically my boobs are actually a similar size to Zoro.
It is always weird whenever I think about anime, because like I'm 6 foot even, which is like normal in America, but I guess compared to characters over there in Japan, that's tall, I suppose. But think of the 10 bits, and for explaining the minutia of Roronoa Zoro's anatomy. After we examine the pen out, we'll be back to the chat and read some more, but thank you for the 10 bits.
The RM initials are very clearly engraved here.
And the fact that Miss Brett was clinging to this pen in her dying moments is very clearly a message too.
To identify her killer, you mean?
I don't think there can be any doubt that this is a key piece of evidence in this case. But yeah, I'm not answering that.
Click the end there.
There's some sort of emblem here. Look! But it isn't a Yume University one.
It must belong to some other organization, I suppose. A business of some kind?
So maybe there's some other character named RM? Obviously not Hosonaga or Natsume. We haven't gotten the photographer's name yet. Maybe his name is RM.
But that would seem to imply the pen doesn't, in fact, belong to Ray. The details of the fountain pen have been updated in the court record.
The fountain pen that the victim was found grasping in her hand, it carries the initials RM as well as an emblem of some description. Okay, from this angle, it looks like a telescope. Okay, can we, I want to take the lid off. I want to take the cap off. Pop that cap.
If we take off the pen's lid. Papa.
Oh, it's a fountain pen. Oh, where'd the lid go? It's gone. It is gone for goodsies. Oh, I can't click the tip? I just want to click the tip. Oh, I can click the shaft. It let me click the shaft, but not the tip? What's wrong? You need to make sure that you give the tip as much love as the shaft.
Now let's unscrew the barrel, shall we?
Oh, okay, we're just taking the tip right off. We're doing like you do in school, where you take apart your pen and... Oh, is there no ink in it? It's empty? That's odd.
This must be the little reservoir that holds the ink.
Yes, you fill it by drawing ink from a bottle up through the nib.
Is something wrong, Father?
Just that there doesn't actually appear to be any ink in there, that's all.
Oh yes, you're right. It's pretty much empty. Well, it could be on the verge of running out, I suppose.
Oh, so we're updating even more. There we go. Wait. Okay, so that just went on the very end. So I wonder if we'd examined this first, if we would have seen a version of this description that mentions the lack of ink, but not the emblem.
Details of the fountain pen have been updated in the court record.
A fountain pen bearing the initials RM, there's an emblem of some description. There is a very small amount of liquid still inside the ink reservoir. Oh, wait, so there is liquid, but it's not ink. So, okay, that's an important clue then, I guess. Anything else to click? I guess not. I don't know how that helps anything. Oh, now we can flip this around. We couldn't do that before. Before it was zoomed in, so what's on the other side? Probably help wanted ads. Oh, that one, there's an advertisement for helping with balding. You know, that'd probably be useful for Ouchie. It looks like kind of a side profile of his head. Let's read the front page first.
Raucous England returnees tell all. This is the interview with you and Soseki-san, isn't it, Father? Or is it, Father? There we go.
Yeah, that's what we saw before.
It looks as though it was quite an exchange.
Yes, he became a little over-animated when he was talking about his time in England.
I'm gonna become a little over-animated reading some chat because it's just taking me a long time, and I miss you guys. Oak says the leading theory as to why he was ranked so high is because there's another character named Rox who was actually important and ranked 11th. Oh, so you think people were voting accidentally? So I think the reason Rockstar was ranked high is because people tried voting for Rox and made a mistake. Cleta says, oh, that actually would make sense. It makes me glad the Fire Emblem voting actually shows the icons of the characters, because we do have the very rare times where two characters shared a name. Kind of reminds me of one time with I gotta relate everything to Transformers. That is all I know. One time for their annual Hall of Fame voting, there was a contingent of fans that decided they found there was an obscure character released in like 1989 or 1990. It was a Micromaster, just a little guy's a construction equipment guy, very unfortunately named Erector. And so they made an online campaign to we all gotta vote for Erector as the Hall of Fame winner. And Erector mercifully did not win, but got so many votes that they decided to do a little honorable mention presentation for him, which just involved a lot of innuendo type of jokes. See, Oak said, the problem is voting did show an icon of the character as Queen has said. What? Oak says, so I don't know how they mixed it up. I'm assuming maybe they were anime-onlys who'd heard about Rox being cool and wanted to vote for him despite not knowing what he actually looks like. Magpie says, in the Ace Attorney roleplay Discord, we have a joke of Iris. Oh, yeah, you told me. Iris, was it? No, not that one, the other one. And Iris, no, that one, not the other one, or something like that. Iris, no, not that one, the pink one. And Iris, no, not that one, the sad one. That's what it was. Yes. Oh, I miss old Iris Hazakura. Oak says, or they just voted so fast they didn't pay attention when you search Rox Rockstar showed up before Rox. Quita says, oof. And Shira says, flawlessly. Okay, Hosanaga. Let me take a look over the YouTube chat. Revealette says, wow, I didn't think you'd find out about our secret poking each other with knives parties. Why am I not invited to these parties, Revealette? Granted, I would not want to be poked with knives. I don't even like needles. The idea of getting like a piercing or a tattoo is, I mean, I'll get like shots at the doctor if I have to, but that's only because my germophobia outweighs my needle phobia. Shira says, I totally haven't stabbed someone with a knife. See, the problem is your use of the word totally makes me wonder how honest you're being. Grim says, tell Shiro. I says, hi. Well, you can tell Shiro right there. Shiro is there. Durba says, just use representation voting. You can have 10 or 100 characters. It would still work. Yeah, it's what it was called. It's like ranked choice. And I think there's other types of it as well where you like put them in order. And I'm a fan of that type of stuff. See, Durba says, it means you're tripping here. This is getting dangerously close to chew, AKA defense to chew. Durba says, quote, Your Honor, Chewbacca live on Endor with a bunch of Ewoks. Does that make sense? Does Rey Membami pulling a knife out make sense? No, this case doesn't make sense, so you must acquit Susato.
Yeah, Chewbacca.
And then the judge would be like, Chewbacca does not live on Endor. He's from like Tillawook or something like that. I don't know the name of his planet. And Endor is not even where the Ewoks live. The Ewoks live on the forest moon of Endor. That's like if somebody lived on the moon and you said that person lives on Earth. No, that wouldn't be right. Guilty. Guilty executor right now. I'm gonna go home and watch Return of the Jedi. Oh, I hate everybody in this courtroom. That's what would happen. That is what would happen. Okay, let's play a bit more.
Yes, he became a little over-animated when he was talking about his time in England. The photographer managed to capture the moment his hand karate chopped me on the neck.
Oh, so he's not even like just pointing, he's chopping.
I do hope you weren't hurt.
Okay, nothing else on the front page. Let's look. Oh, is that? I wonder if this is supposed to be for that same beefsteak reference restaurant, since their logo was a bull's head. I can't remember what it's called. But okay, let's try and click the balding tonic ad.
This is the newspaper from Soseki-san. There seems to be an important article on the back page as well. Exclusive! Deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory.
And Jezeel Brett used poison last time in her murder as well. So we're gonna say that she was poisoned and stabbed? Stabbed with a poison tip stabber? Or like poisoned so that she'd like not fight back and then stabbed?
From Yume's medical research. Father, isn't that your lab?
What the? Let me see that. Who knew I stole that poison? The poison's been stolen.
It's this morning's paper that Soseki-san gave us. Are you saying you didn't know?
As embarrassing as that is for the head of the laboratory, I didn't. I've not heard any such thing. Where on earth could the reporter have gleaned this information?
I mean, he's following around Natsume everywhere. I just worry that the reporter is going to be the murderer, because that would have put him on the beach as well if he was following Natsume. And the reporter seems already like such a wholesome, wonderful fella.
Come to think of it, there was no article mentioning this story in our paper this morning, was there?
It's a highly toxic poison that we've been working on in the strictest confidence. You know what? Some of us get tired with saving lives with medicine. We're like, let's make some poisons. Let's just kill some folks. I'd put Rey in charge of the project.
Rey? She was managing it?
If what's written here is true, it means that she tried to hide the theft from me. And moreover, the details were leaked somehow.
I don't believe it.
We need to read this article very carefully. The article about the poison has been entered in the court record. An article about poison that was stolen from the laboratory at Yume University. Even my father, who is responsible for the lab, knew nothing of the incident. So I'm guessing we'll probably use that later if we end up having Ray testify. Can we open it up? It does not look like we can. All right, let's back out of here and see if there's anything else we can examinify. Okay, so this is nothing. We can't flip it around. Post-mortem report, we already read it. 11th of August around 2 p.m. ascertained by examination and witness statements. Single deep stab wound from behind, piercing a lung and resulting in fatal hemorrhage. Death would have happened within minutes. Extreme meiosis pupil constriction was observed in the victim in both eyes. Okay, so that's going to be important at some point. I'm not seeing anything that is jumping out at me as going to be useful in this cross-examination. Let's go over everything Hosonaga said again. And the way the game was really emphasizing examining means that we have to use something that we just learned. And we've learned 3 things. We've learned that the fountain pen is mostly empty, that it has an emblem on it, and that there was a poison article on the back. And here's the art. We can read the article. Okay, nice. Exclusive deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. Following a lecture at Yume by Soseki Natsume on 11th August, it's come to light that a very disturbing incident took place. A deadly poison being secretly developed in the university's forensic science laboratory was stolen. Deadly in tiny quantities, even the smallest amount entering the body either via the mouth or via a wound from a poison-laced blade, or like a pen maybe, would prove fatal in minutes. That's how long it took her to die. Minutes. Current methods cannot detect the newly developed chemical. The university would have to be consulted. Well, unfortunately, we got Eugene right here. Why is the poison being developed? We love killing. Onset of symptoms occurs in minutes, starting with impaired breathing and ending with acute contraction of the pupils prior to death. Okay, so there we go. So that'll show. We should just like Ray said, it's like, all right, hang on, time out from this, time out. The cause of death was not the stabbing, it was this poison. Such symptoms would be suggestive of this toxin. It's apparently an entirely new synthesis of alkaloids and rumored to have been commissioned by the military. Oh, the military? They just wouldn't it be? Isn't chemical warfare like a war crime? Maybe they didn't have war crimes back then. This is pre-Geneva Convention. So let's save and figure out where we can present some evidence. Y'all? Huh. I'm not gonna bother with the voice, I just wanna see what he's saying. Pulling a blade out from the wound without thinking causes heavy bleeding. Basic knowledge any medical research assistant with an ounce of sense would know. There's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull out the knife from the victim. I mean, we can maybe... we can try and say that there was a reason that if the poison was on the blade, she'd be trying to get the blade out. Don't forget the young student did have a motive for killing the victim. Man, the victim murdered 9 months ago, Dr. Okay, so it's got to be this then. There's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife out from the victim. So we got to present something here. I can't think of anything else other than the poison article. You know what? We saved. Let's just try it. Present.
Objection!
Hey! Guessing works!
No, there is one possibility. One very good reason why the defendant might have decided to withdraw the knife from the victim's wound.
What? The yokel not only has a poor grasp of the law, but is also a poor loser. Oh, loser! Tell us then, what possibility do you think you've identified?
It's here, in this newspaper article. An article about a deadly poison having been stolen from a laboratory at the Imperial Yume unit. Please don't interrupt me, unit.
The victim perished from a stab wound. Poison has no relevance in this case,
So now we'll be able to show the autopsy report about the contracted pupils and its relevance, yeah? Let me read some more in the chat now that we've gotten past that cross-examination. We did it in an hour. We're killing it here. Quiggin says, I didn't have any video game dreams, but in my dream last night, I went to the Dream Mall. I went to all the time. Okay, I'm glad other people have this. There's a mall in my dreams that I go to frequently, and I don't think it's like a real mall. but it's the same in my dreams for some reason. Yes, that's a real thing I do in my dreams, and my favorite accessory store was closed. There was just a wall there. I was so mad, especially since Big Bird was a great employee there. At the mall in my dreams, I mainly go to the video game arcade and the movie theater that's there. Most of the regular stores, I just kind of, hang out outside of. Quita says, but at least later in the dream, I found out there was a manga bookstore and never seen before in the mall. So yay. Before you ask, my dream mall is like huge. Think of the biggest mall you know and then double it. So literally I've gotten lost in despite being my own dream. Something annoying though is that in the dream manga store I was checking out and some annoying lady was spraying perfume everywhere. Thankfully I woke up there after making the sale. Could you smell it? Could you smell things in your dream? Shiro says, I may or may not have poked people with knives. What? Over on YouTube, you said that you totally haven't. Were you lying, Shiro? Glenn said, do pencils count? No, pencils don't count. Everybody stabbed people with pencils. It's like this is what children do. It's like what babies do to each other all the time, just grab pencil stabs. I'm talking about knives. Eglin said playing more Splatoon Raiders, fully upgraded Fry, and I'm trying to upgrade Big Man. I've been putting it off because his special is low-key kind of bot. But are you having fun? That's the most important part. Shira says ranked choice voting is pretty good to use the... Well, I'm sure like anything has advantages and disadvantages, but I think at the very least in popularity polls, it's what I would prefer anyway, but that's just me. Let me take a look over to YouTube chat. I gotta scroll up a little bit, gotta scroll up. Let's see, Rivula says, oh dang, he's a coin now. That's kind of what he was in the dream. I don't know why. Well, because I think here's my theorizing, because I figure he's got to be, they've done a wide range of heights all the way down from orange to, I should probably describe this on Tuesday. I will describe this on Tuesday. Remind me then I'll go over my reasoning for why I think he's going to be a big floating disc of some sort. Derma says, everything I hear about One Piece makes me more confused. I'm not even into Transformers. I'd 100% vote Erector. And Shira says, never question my totally nothing I say can be completely trusted. At any moment, I could be feeding you a pack of BS. And Derma says, exactly. It doesn't make sense. You must quit. Grim says, hi, Shiro. Shira says, hi, Grim. Shira with a smiley face. And Derma says, hi, Shiro. And Shira says, sup, Dermo, which YouTube is trying to translate to Dermo soup. Derma says, the AA universe has a real problem with chemicals being stolen from labs. It's like in Batman stuff, where the bad guys are always like going into abandoned warehouses and abandoned factories. They just have too many abandoned warehouses and abandoned factories. Speaking of which, are Magpie and Vex still in the chat? I posted a video over in the videos channel on Discord about a Batman movie that I have thoughts about. That one of the new animated movies that's coming up. They're animating one of my favorite storylines, and I have just such mixed feelings about it. Let's see. Shiro says there are actually some cases where toxins can be beneficial. Is it where that you use them to form an antitoxin? But is it an antitoxin for the toxin which would not have existed in the first place if you never developed the toxin? I'm just saying. Toxins do be deadly, I think. And maybe it's like a pesticide for like mosquitoes. I should play some game. I should play some game. The victim perished from a stab wound. That's it.
But
Prosecutor Ouchie, you will let the defense speak. But a newspaper article? Get with the modern age. Use your phone apps. The court cannot rely on the kind of hearsay those wretched publications carry. Counsel for the defense. I'm gonna need some tangible basis for your claim. You will indicate to the court precisely what part of the newspaper article affirms your assertion. Okay, let's save. Because it's gonna be that last page that mentions the pupils contracting, right? And we'll be able to point then to the autopsy report to show that, yeah? Your Excellency!
yes, of course. Thank you.
Ray would never have done anything to further endanger Miss Brett's life without just cause.
I'm revenge. She might have thought that was a just cause.
The reason why the defendant pulled the knife from the victim's body is explained in the article where it says...
Wait, is it, hang on. What was the name of that page? I thought it was the third page, but now I'm second guessing myself. Why is the poison being developed? Yeah, there we go. Acute contraction of the pupils. Why is the poison being developed? Why is the poison being developed?
According to the article, the development of the poison was requested by the military.
Oh, yes! A troubling revelation indeed!
No, it's very worrying.
And yet, even more worrying is how this yokel is trying to manipulate the court with nothing more than rumors.
Agawal!
I was not wrong! Contraction of the pupils! But I feel sure Ray had a good reason for her actions. And I feel sure the explanation is somewhere. And it's there! It's on that page! In the newspaper article.
Try reading the article.
I did! There's evidence on that page!
Yes!
At least it doesn't seem to have taken away hit points. Okay, maybe it's gonna be, is one of the other two pages? This just says it was stolen. Even the smallest amount entered the body, either via the moon or a poison-laced blade, would prove fatal in minutes. I guess we're gonna say that. But this is not nearly as conclusive as the pupils contracting thing. It'll do deadly in tiny quantities.
The article reveals the following property about the poison in question. When the toxin enters the body on a knife laced with the poison, it's rapidly absorbed and causes death in minutes.
Are you suggesting?
If the knife used to attack Miss Brett was laced with this very poison, it would explain why the defendant, Mimbami-san, would have withdrawn the blade as soon as possible. Yes, the truth is, it was an attempt to stop the poison from entering the victim's body!
What?
Hubbub, hubbub, hubbub. Maybe a talking cat in a coat? I don't know.
Objection!
Yep.
This is complete and utter nonsense!
Not at all. The defendant withdrew the knife blade from the victim's body not to accelerate the woman's demise, but to save her life, and the prosecution cannot deny the possibility.
Have you not read the post-mortem report? The cause of death was hemorrhage!
The word poison appears nowhere in the document, where the article also says you can't detect it. We need to consult with a specialist. I got one right next to me. Let's ask him. Let's put my dad on the stand. I mean, my not dad on the stand. I'm gonna read some more comments in the chat. Queen says, in the Fire Emblem gacha, they did rankings for both male and female. The first and second places for both got special units. And you could get whoever you liked most in those four in a free selector. That's pretty cool. Magpie says, I also think yoked up means jacked, but slang is moving rapidly, so who knows? I feel like it used to be that words would stay cool for like maybe a couple of years. Now it's like a couple of months and they're gone. Queen says, if you've ever played Fire Emblem Three Houses, the gatekeeper who does not have a name or an actual face is the only NPC duty is saying, don't worry, protag, the gates are safe. Got either first or second place in the male rankings and therefore became playable in the gacha with the best art I've ever seen. You know what that reminds me of? I know we've talked about this in this game before. Dragon's Dogma. Anyone here ever played? It's a really fun game and it has this cool romance mechanic in it, where at the end of the game, the evil dragon that you're fighting kidnaps your beloved. However, the beloved is not like predetermined by the story, it's determined by how you play. And so they have an affinity system with all the NPCs, and whichever NPC you have the highest affinity with, the game decides that is your beloved, and the dragon will kidnap and you have to go rescue the dragon. And the idea is, if there's an NPC you really, really like, you're gonna talk to that NPC a lot, you'll do side quests for that NPC, you'll always visit that NPC when you go to town. It's a really great idea, but the problem is that most players, the NPCs they talk to the most are like the old man at the inn, or like who sells armor and things like that, the armor shop dealer or the innkeeper. And so when the game first came out, they had like tons of people who were like, and they don't show you the beloved, it's just your beloved is kidnapped. You don't find out till like after you slay the dragon. And so many people, they beat the game, they slay the dragon, and they have this like slow motion scene of like the old gross man at the innkeeper like running to you, like, and then embrace you, and the two of you lie down like you're gonna do it. And so then later they did an updated version of the game where they introduced an item like a ring that you could gift to an NPC that would like max out the affinity and override any of that other stuff. But yeah, so I'm just imagining it's very similar to that. Let me take a look over the YouTube chat. Derma says, also, to create detectors, antidotes, and to perform tests on a toxin, you do need the toxin itself. But yeah, but if the toxin doesn't exist yet, then why would you need detectors and antidotes for it? I'm just saying. Derma says, Logan, we're pre-World Wars. Chemical warfare hasn't happened yet, and the events following are an indication have yet to be regulated. That's true. Like I said, the Geneva Conventions don't exist yet, so I guess that's totally allowed. Derma says, YouTube Shiro is completely innocent in knife poking. The testimony of Twitch Shiro cannot be used against him in YouTube court, Logan. Is that just going to be a jurisdiction thing, or are we trying to say that they are two different people? In fact, Shiro says, I don't know if YouTube Shiro is more trustworthy than Twitch Shiro. Both are chaos gremlins. I do enjoy a good chaos gremlin. And Shiro says, an anti-toxic can also be toxic itself. And Derma says, Shiro, I defended you. Why are you souping me? Souping? What does that even mean? Let me take a look at the Twitch chat again. Magpie says to Queen Katie, love that for him laughing. It reminds me of the time the Tetris L Block won Best Character Poll. Have you guys seen, there was some meme that went around ages ago that was like a scan from the Tetris instruction booklet for when the game first came out in the, I don't know if it was like the late 80s or early 90s or whenever Tetris first came to exist. And it supposedly said that all the different blocks had names, and they're like people names for the blocks. And this went around as like this great bit of trivia. Apparently, I'm told that it turns out that was originally the original meme, the original image was photoshopped, and it's not true. But this does sometimes happen where a meme or an urban legend of something in a game or a story or a franchise will become so prevalent that everybody believes it, and then people start doing it. Like I'm trying to think of an example, but I know that there are instances of this where fans just start like using a term and they think it's true. It's like names of mascot characters. I think one of the example is the Pringles guy on the Pringles can. I don't know his name, but I think at one point everybody started calling him something. It was just like a made-up name that people on the internet had come up with. And I think the company that makes Pringles eventually figured, like, it was used so often, it's like, well, that's obviously his real name, and just started using it. And it's like, that's not. That is just something that people made up. But yeah, anyway, let's keep going.
The word poison appears nowhere in the document. Well, that's because by acting quickly to remove the blade, the defendant prevented the poison from taking hold.
That's not true. Let me choose what to say, Susato.
Oh, please. This is clearly desperation. The weasel's last breaking of wind. That means a fart. Weasel farts. Weasel farts. That was my nickname in college. Poison has nothing whatsoever to do with this case, as I believe the defense is well aware. We have no proof that the information in the wretched newspaper article is at all reliable anyway. In that situation, what the student should have done is wait for medical assistance to arrive.
Well, woulda, coulda, shoulda. It's not what she did. Maybe now we're going to get to have a testimony from the photographer that's been following around Natsume. Maybe he's one of the reporters that worked on that article.
But instead, you claim she suspected poisoning and took the potentially lethal decision to remove the blade. She must have had a strong reason for her suspicions then, or the argument makes no sense.
Maybe that's what we're going to say is the trace amounts of liquid in the fountain pen.
Exactly. Well put, Inspector. On what grounds did she do it, yokel? Why did Ray suspect the poison was involved? The stolen poison was involved. If you want grounds, I'll give you grounds. I'll give you a ground pound. Am I allowed to threaten people? What? You can't possibly.
From your expression, Counsel, it would appear those are not empty words.
Oh.
But naturally, as you stand in this courtroom as a lawyer, you must be aware that words alone, empty or not, are of no value in our modern justice system. The court demands evidence.
Oh yes, Your Excellency. I'm well aware of that. I've seen it many times from my place at his side in the Old Bailey. In the exactly 2 cases. I stood by his side. Twice. It was only twice.
In that case, Counsel, you will present the proof to the court now. Okay, save.
I want to say the fountain pen, but I feel like it's kind of a bit of a logical leap to just assume that the liquid in the fountain pen is that. But I guess I'll present it. What evidence demonstrates a clear link between this case and the poison in the newspaper? Oh, okay, never mind. Not the pen. We're doing the post-mortem report to show the contracting pupils. Yeah, let's do that. Present.
Take that!
I would ask the court to refer to the note section of the post-mortem report, which reads, extreme meiosis, pupil constriction was observed in the victim. Ah. Clearly, being a yokel with no knowledge of forensic science, I have no idea, so please do tell me. Presumably, the fact that this condition of the victim was noted in the post-mortem report means that it's an unusual symptom of death.
I didn't know that Ryutaro could be smug.
Tisk, well... Under normal circumstances, the pupils dilate when someone dies, hence dilate. If there was extreme constriction instead, that's most certainly unusual, yes.
Okay, that's good. I want to read some more in the chat because I'm still far behind. We're almost halfway through the stream, and I just sit here the entire time I'm playing the game, missing y'all. Shira says to Oak, haven't we gotten 3 silhouette reveals in the current arc? Magpie says not just the poll, but an entire year's tournament of best characters. Squeaky says if I can find the art, I would love to share the Discord. Magpie says yeah. Squeaky said wait, I'm looking him up. He got a Christmas variant at some point? Oh, I'm so happy for him. Oak says yes. Low-key forgot about Redacted. Shira said the current arc has been wild though, especially the newest chapters. Oak said yeah, the last 2 have been ridiculous. I'm low-key terrified, but maybe Usopp will finally do something. Please, Oda, please give Usopp something to do. Shira with an emote. Oak says I can't keep looking at pregnant Usopp fan art forever? I mean, you can do both. Even if Usopp does something, you can keep looking at Mpreg, and you know what? And that's another turn over the date. How many streams since Mpreg has been referenced? Oak says it's all I have left. Queen says it's a plush turtle. So it is a plush turtle. It's not a real turtle. I thought Mr. Turtle was a real turtle. You know, I'm gonna hold out hope that maybe by the end of this, he's gonna poop out some eggs. Just like the swan. Although the swan was weird. Swan gave like live birth, which I don't think birds are supposed to do. Magpie says, pretty sure Mr. Turtle is a bobblehead toy. Boo! Shira says, it's hammer time. Crap, that's how far back I am when the judge was doing that. Shira says, I actually don't remember if Judge did that in Game 1, but it's still a great animation. Queen says, posted the Fire Emblem Gatekeeper. Turns out he got first place back then with 72,000 votes. Wild! Second place was Marth with 46,000. It's Roy and Marth, aren't they? Those are the names of every Fire Emblem character, right? Every Fire Emblem character is either Roy or Marth, I think. Queen says, technically, this character barely appeared at all, and I love them, is someone's grandma in Detective Conan. Funny thing, though, is the character that's related to the grandma is literally my most hated character of all time, but I gotta give it to him for loving his granny. Shira says, guys, Logan wants me to be a criminal. No, Shiro! Queen says, said Granny also raced a mountain witch. Shira says, that means he'll be my attorney, right? I mean, if you want that, I'll do it. I will not do a good job. Eglin says, Logan, I think you somehow imagined Blue as Lagabo.
So the mascot gonna turn into a big-boobed girl.
Yeah, that's it.
And what's she gonna do? She's gonna vomit.
Vomit all over the place.
Clues, vomits them. Need
Vomits
a sword.
clues.
Reach down her throat. She vomits it out.
Vomits the sword
Put her
out.
in a bikini in a barrel. Need a clue?
There we go. Master Detective Archive Raincoat. Thank you very much. Who is that? Oh, it's Crystal! Welcome, Crystal! We were just talking about Hajime's giant badonkers earlier. How are you doing, Crystal? Thank you for the Logan Clip Roulette announcing your arrival. Let's see. Eglin was saying, Logan, I think you somehow imagined Blue as a peepus in your dream. You know what? That makes sense. It was more round. But yeah, maybe that's what it is. Let me take a look at the YouTube chat. Shira says, I have no clue what you mean by that, dare I ask. Grim says, hey Logan, I'm gonna go because my computer is almost dead. I don't want to fall asleep to my horror playlist, so bye. Sorry, no, thank you for being here as much as you were able to, Grim. No worries, if you have to take off, totally understandable. Have a good rest of your night. Enjoy your horror playlist. Hopefully we'll see you next time. Shira says, horror. Dura says, Grim, I feel like a horror playlist is the last thing I'd want to fall asleep to. Unless maybe it's like, maybe you want bad dreams. I was just thinking about this today. I feel like there was a time in my life, I went through a stretch where I just stopped having bad dreams. I was having good dreams. And now I no longer have nightmares, but almost all my dreams are stress dreams. I very rarely have a good dream. And whenever I do have a good dream, it's usually so good that when I wake up, I'm then just sad that it wasn't real. Dura says, it would be venom as it needs to enter the bloodstream. yokes are slang for drugs here in Ireland, so yoked has different meaning here. I don't doubt the other meaning. Okay, so that's good. I didn't know that. I'm not hip to Irish slang, sadly. Other than things that I tried to say as Magnus McGill did, which you said Irish people don't actually say. Like Faith Begora. Although I do think Magnus McGill had said Begora at one point. But anyway, let's play a little bit more of the game. If there was extreme constriction instead, that's most certainly unusual, yes.
What are you doing, you yokel detective? In the newspaper article, there's the following information about the stolen poison.
On the page I tried to present earlier!
Onset of symptoms occurs in minutes, ending with acute contradiction of the pupils prior to death.
What?
If the defendant, upon seeing the victim stabbed in the back, happened to notice that the pupils of Miss Brett's eyes had constricted severely.
Yes, as a medical research assistant, she would have suspected poison immediately, without a doubt.
Was Jezzael Brett wearing one of her masks at the time? I do think it's funny that the lady who sort of canonically has no eyes. That was the thing. We saw her character model last time. She has, it's just flesh. It's like, if any of you guys see the new trailer for the Clayface movie, it's just flesh over her eye sockets. You can see it. You can somehow see her eyeballs.
Yes, as a medical research assistant, she would have suspected poison immediately, without doubt.
Again, we should have asked her. She should have told us this. We should have had to figure it out on our own.
Hunger! Huh. Prosecutor Ouchie, I think you'll agree. This is very compelling evidence.
Tisk, you! Yokel student and yokel professor!
Maybe he's a dog and a cat stacked on their shoulders in a coat. I believe the defense has expertly demonstrated a credible reason for the defendant's actions.
No!
Eugene Mikotoba!
Gonna ask him to testify?
Yes, Your Excellency. I believe you are best placed here to confirm or deny the veracity of the defense counsel's argument. You will tell the court the truth about the details reported in this newspaper, please. I didn't hear about it. I didn't hear about the theft.
Well, he knows about the poison, though.
It pains me to have to admit it.
Oh, crap. Is he gonna say something that'll throw Ray under the bus?
But I'm afraid I don't know. I don't know. You don't know? The toxin was kept under lock and key in my laboratory, certainly, but I was unaware of any theft.
Do you mean to tell the court that the reports of this theft are unfounded? I mean, maybe the reporter stole it and then wrote an article about the theft to throw up suspicion. It's like a self-report in Among Us. It's like you kill somebody, you call an emergency meeting, it's like, I found a body. The reporter's like, I found out this poison here in my hand was stolen by somebody who probably has it in his hand right now. I mean, somebody stole the poison.
No, Your Excellency. Without returning to the laboratory to investigate myself, I couldn't say.
Are we gonna take a recess, maybe?
Listen to the bumbling academic. Unaware of the theft of secret state research from his own workplace until he reads of it in the newspaper.
I take full responsibility for the incompetence of my supervision.
Father. Wait, did you just say father? You heard him say father! Also, I just noticed he has boobs. A pitiful situation for a university professor. You should have more control over your students rather than allowing them off on killing sprees.
You should know that. You should know killing sprees are against the code of ethics.
Hold it. Wait, what am I saying? None of this is Professor Mikotoba's fault. I want to see what Susato was saying a second ago.
That's totally unfounded.
Okay, so Ray is finally chiming in. About time, girl. We're probably going to have more Yuri tension here. Let me read some more comments in the chat. Magpie says, I wonder if the full Star Wars term should be pronounced like glub. I'm not going to say that out loud just because some people might mistake it as me saying the word, but it's the French word for castle. I would appreciate that because then I could like talk about the glup, those things, because I do like the concept. Magpie says, I just like how TTS Girl pronounced niche. Wait, how did TTS Girl say it? I wasn't even paying close enough attention. Magpie says, Sarfunkel Gaimon. Oh! Simon and Garfunkel? Is that a reference there? Magpie says, Simon and Garfunkel, learning from the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure School of Character Naming. Which, by the way, I did recently decide to finally restart watching JoJo a little bit. I'll probably get out of it because I've got multiple shows I'm watching at the same time. So I finally watched a few episodes of the Josuke season. I'm like, I don't know, half a dozen episodes into it or something. We just did one where the little wimpy kid awakened his stand. It was like an egg, and then it cracked open, and he had a stand that does like the onomatopoeia sound effects. So I'm doing a little bit of that. So those who are JoJo fans, be proud of me. Kaifi says, "What's up, gamers? I'm just voicing memes while I lurk." LoganRobo's, how you doing, Kaifi? Are you like voicing memes to like post them online or something like that? Thank you very much for the lurk.
Just testing this out. Niche.
I still got to crank up the volume a bit more on that Beef Long and TTS. The problem is when I turned up more, then the proink at the end got super loud, so I needed to just like put a hard limiter on it and then crank it up. But Beef Longa says it normal. I think. Thank you very much for testing that, Crystal. Thank you. Let's see. Eglin says, I don't know who came up with niche, but they are wrong. I have heard it said both ways. I've heard people say niche and niche. I'm fine with either, but I do tend to default toward niche because I think that's like technically proper, but I have heard it both ways. Over on YouTube, Shiro says, to be fair, Dermo, when I was a kid, I fell asleep to lullaby music from a toy I had and had a nightmare. So music selection doesn't matter. I never usually fall asleep to like music or stuff like that, but I do find if I ever accidentally fall asleep with the TV on, whatever sound is in the TV works its way into my dreams. Dermo says, Shiro, I once fell asleep to Cannibal Corpse death metal, so I can't say much. And Shiro says, lol. Dermo says, what does she know about the stolen poison? She only works in a lab developing said poison. And the Derma says, Kodaka was on the yolks when he came up with that game pitch. I promise that's slang. I'm not going mad. And then, quote, acute contradiction of the eyes. Sorry, did I say contradiction instead of contraction? I'm sorry. She was literally lying with her eyes. Well, it's better to lie using your eyes than to lie with your eyes. Because, like, you shouldn't do that with your eyes. Your eyes are a part of your body. That's gross. That's not what your eyes are for. One or two more quick comments on Twitch that we'll get back in the game. Magpie says, I think niche has 2 accepted pronunciations, and that's one of them. Still feels wrong to me, though. The word that I always get confused with, well, not confused with, but it's like, I think it's both are technically correct, but I never know what to say, was it facade? No, visage, that's what, visage or visage? No. There's some word that I remember every time I see it, I'm like, I'm not sure which way to go, but now I'm spacing it. Shira says, vigilante justice is usually overboard. Yeah, most of the time. And Cap said, what if the vigilantes chill and gives the bad guys gummies? Well then, well, it depends. Do the bad guys deserve gummies? Maybe if they're so bad that the vigilante should just eat gummies in front of the bad guy. All right, let's play some more of the game. None of this is Professor Mikotoba's fault. It's all my fault.
Ray.
Membami-san, you stand accused here. And you're a girl. Outbursts like this will not be tolerated. Just like I don't tolerate girls. But it was me who stole the poison? I was the one. I was the one who noticed that the poison we were developing had been stolen that day. Yeah, you shouldn't say it was me when we're trying to figure out who stole poison. Just say I'm the one who noticed it, or I noticed it. What?
So you knew?
I had been placed in charge of overseeing the project. It was the day that the professor and Soseki-san were interviewed together for the newspaper. Oh, so I wonder if maybe in the photo on the newspaper, maybe we'll see like a, I wish I could just zoom in without having to click and go through the dialogue. Maybe there's gonna be like a clue in there. What are these cracks? Hang on, I want to zoom in on the picture again. Yeah, okay, I don't care. Just zoom in on the picture. Are those cracks in the lens? I hadn't noticed those before, so maybe that's going to be important. That the photographer broke his camera for some reason? Wow, okay, that's making me sus the photographer more, which is sad. I haven't met him, but I immediately love him. It was the day that the professor and Soseki-san were interviewed together for the newspaper. That's when I noticed that some of the poison was missing. Just a tiny amount it was.
Why didn't you let me know immediately?
It was your special day. You were being interviewed, bro.
I was scared. Just of you. Of men. Except Ryutaro. The whole project was supposed to be confidential, but some of the toxin had somehow been taken. So, I decided to try to get it back before anyone else found out. Because I had a very good idea who the thief was. Oh, okay, so the photographer guy? The thief, you don't mean.
Or she's probably gonna accuse Soseki of it or something.
Yes, of course. It was that dainty English woman.
Oh, okay, so no, it was Giselle Predator, so which was tracked. She used poison to kill John Wilson, so like she loves poison. Miss Giselle Brett?
That's why I decided to join the little group of people going to the seaside. Inside the beach hut, I confronted Miss Brett.
Should we maybe have her like give this information under oath as a testimony?
But she just sat on the stool at the back of the hut, smiling sweetly at me as if she knew she was untouchable. I know it was you who stole the poison.
Well now, whatever do you mean?
And then, someone else killed her. Not me. She suddenly got to her feet, and then slipped and went oops and stabbed herself with a knife. Oh no. Before falling to her knees in front of me and then collapsing on the floor. Huh? That's when I saw the knife in her back. I couldn't understand what had just happened. And then, a moment later, I was seized with fear. The pupils of her eyes, they shrunk to tiny pinpoints.
I don't believe it.
In other words, you realized that the victim was suffering the effects of the stolen poison. Why did we not ask her this before? I feel like this is important information.
My mind started racing. I hadn't seen anything past Miss Brett's lips whilst I'd been with her, which left only one possible way for the poison to have entered her body. On the blade of the knife in her back.
And that train of thought was what spurred you to withdraw the blade.
Yes, if the amount that had entered her bloodstream was small enough, she might still have a chance. That's what I hoped.
But I assume what we'll be able to say is that, Ouchie will probably say, well, the poison then didn't kill her, but the hemorrhage from removing the blade did, so we'll have to prove that somehow it was the poison instead. But the thing we read said that it leaves no trace, so we'd have to have an expert. I don't know. I just keep going. See what happens.
Really?
Oh, I thought she was about to smack her head on the counter.
I'm so sorry for staying silent all this time.
Why did you stay silent? Your attempt to hide the truth of what happened is not something that can be overlooked. Granted, we all probably shoulder some of the blame for not trusting the word of a woman, but it's your fault for being a woman, lady. However, I have duly noted the courage with which you confessed in the end.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
It's barely perceptible, but I do think the balance has shifted a little here. In this courtroom, now.
Objection!
Why? What is it, Ouchie?
Your Excellency, do not be deceived. The victim just collapsed before your eyes, you say? Well, Membami-san, if that is the case, perhaps you could explain how Miss Brett came to be stabbed.
It was a beach hut. It's like little cloth door. Somebody like just reach and stab. It's easy. Look at this. Look at this thing. Look at the photo here. Oh, never mind. It's not cloth walls. Oh, but look at that. Look at that right there. You can see my cursor, right? If she was sitting there, there's a crack between there. Perfect size to shove a knife through it. Right in her back as she's sitting there, stands up, and then falls over, dead. There, case closed.
Well, you have no answer because the simple truth is that you stabbed the victim motivated by revenge.
Objection!
But you have no conclusive evidence to prove that assertion.
There we go. Thank you. Finally. Oh, she's probably going to say, well, the evidence is that no one else could have done it. That's not evidence. That's an argument.
Who? Oh, I have evidence, and it's very much conclusive. What's the prosecution counsel up to? You know, you gotta tell us beforehand what the evidence is. It's called discovery. It was brief, but he hesitated for a moment there. I'm almost sure of it.
Okay, so that means whatever evidence he has will have some hole in it that he knows about, but he's hoping we won't notice. You will produce the aforementioned evidence at once, Prosecutor Ouchie. I'm gonna at once read some more chat. Let's see, over on Twitch, Kyvie says to Oak there, what? And Salso nice, but what? And Sheer with an emote. Oak says, Zoro's boobs are canonically the second biggest boobs in all of One Piece, officially confirmed by the author. And Remy! How you doing, Remy? Remy coming in with a clip here. Okay, anyone who's lurking or is new or who does not know the deal, if someone posts a clip in the chat, we watch the clip. This will also tell us how far behind we are. I do apologize that the clipping posting does not seem to work on YouTube. I wish there was a way that I could figure out to get around that. But let's see how, an hour ago, crap! That's how far behind I am? It's called a satisfactory sized niche. Okay, I think I know what this is. Let's watch it. It's good to know that the fans have branched out from just that tiny niche. I'm not tiny, it's a good sized niche. It's a very respectable sized niche. Not that the size of that niche matters, but it is a satisfactory sized niche. Oh, did it cut off right before saying doctor at the very end or something? But yes, it's not the size of the niche that matters anyway. Why are you guys so obsessed with niche sizes? Oh, and a poll has appeared on Twitch. Current poll, Logan has shown repeatedly that he's afraid of blank. This sounds like a Rukov poll. The options are the dark, Nilla in chocolate shakes, women, candy corn, or puppies in parentheses, he kicks them. I'm gonna vote candy corn because candy corn's, oh crap, there's already 3 votes for women. I don't fear women. I love women. It's just that they don't love me. That's the problem. But thank you very much for the poll there. Kyvie said, magic boobo, wish I had those. Kuya says, yeah, Hajime was 91 centimeters. Okay, that's even bigger than I thought. 36 inches for his chest. Oak says, not even magic. They're just big. And Shiro with a hydrate command. Thank you very much, Shiro. I will do that right now. Kevin says, I wonder how big my chest will be on E. I have good genes, so should be good. Oh, I didn't mean to click the game. I'm sorry, game.
Perhaps some praise is due, young yokel student.
We'll wait for that. I gotta check out the YouTube chat. Let's see. Gotta scroll up a little bit. It scrolled without me scrolling up a bit. Derma says, we always talk about vigilante justice, but never vigilante injustice. I'm pretty sure that's just crime. Vigilante injustice is just committing crimes, right? Interestingly enough, though, isn't that, for those who are Batman fans, wasn't that the original concept of Killer Moth? I think Killer Moth eventually just became a villain, was like, hey, this is the Moth-themed villain. But when he was first introduced, I think his concept was kind of interesting, is that he was Batman for the villains. That he was basically going around saving bad guys from being caught by police and being caught by superheroes like Batman, which I think is a fun concept. They shouldn't have gotten rid of that, you know? Derma says, I read that. Radiant says, hello, chat. How you doing, Radiant? Good to see you. Derma says, hi, Radiant. Radiant says, crap, hold on. Wait, what? Derma says, quote, you may have committed a crime, but you admitted to it in confident fashion, so fair play, the judge. Radiant says, be back soon. Gotta go for a moment. Okay, I'm back. Welcome back, Radiant. It is good to have you here. Sheer said, Discovery doesn't exist in this universe. We all know this. I know, but it's frustrating. Ever since seeing the movie My Cousin Vinny, I've been very fixated on Discovery. And which is the main takeaway from the movie: discovery and the size of tire tracks left by cars.
Perhaps some praise is due, young yokel student. What? I had imagined there would be no need for me to submit this evidence.
What's that? That looks like a picture of Ray with the knife in Jezzael's back. Well, we already know she's pulling it out. And it has the exact same crack in it pattern as the one in the newspaper. So we know that this photograph, because it is going to be, you guys can't see, I guess, the full photo because my camera's in the way. I'll wait till it comes up. But yeah, it's going to be taken by the same person who took the photo for the newspaper. Because it goes to the same camera. It's got the same cracked lens.
I had imagined there would be no need for me to submit this evidence. But you've brought this on yourself!
I like that she's got the same kind of swimsuit as Hosonaga, the old-timey one, with sleeves and pant legs. Is this Susato? What the? But no, this tracks with what she's saying. She's taking the knife out. If she had stabbed her, she wouldn't still have her hands on the knife all the way, like, falling down. She'd, like, stab her, let go, oh, you fell down, now pull it out. Like, this is dumb. Are we assuming that she stabbed, like, after she's, like, tripped and fell, and that's when she took the opportunity to stab? This helps nothing. And as I said, has the same lens crack as a photo in the newspaper. Oh, maybe it's the judge. Could a more darning shot exist? The cruelty, oh no, okay, this has gotta be ouchie.
The cruelty in the air on that beach is almost palpable. This evidence, more than any other, reveals the true extent of the accused's murderous nature.
It doesn't contradict anything, though.
For it shows the precise moment that Membami-san plunged her dagger into the victim's back.
No, that's not true. No, come on, bro, no, bro, no, bro, no, bro, no.
I don't believe it.
Ah, don't lose faith in your client. Hubbub. I don't even know what she is anymore. He is. I don't know what that is. Order! Counsel for the defense, was it you who was responsible for that shrill scream that just pierced my courtroom?
I'm sorry, sometimes I scream like a lady.
Perhaps his voice has yet to break. These yokels are slow of mind and slow to mature.
That's true. I haven't hit puberty yet. I'm a late bloomer.
And the case is the adventure of the blossoming attorney, right? He hasn't blossomed.
I'll show you hoes who's slow to mature.
Careful now. Susato is starting to show her face here. It is often said that a picture is worth 1,000 words, and here we have ample proof. The court will accept this extremely cogent photographic print as evidence. The incriminating photograph.
Why are we calling it incriminating?
Has been entered into the court record.
A photographic print taken at the moment the victim was attacked. My friend Ray can be seen kneeling over Miss Brett. I can't believe he's had a photograph like that up his sleeve the entire time. Can we examine it? Oh, we can't but yeah, we just got the big old crack. It's exactly like the crack in the newspaper. Big old crack. And can we see how angry her face is? Oh, she's angry that she's trying to save the life of the lady she hates. Oh, look at that! Eyeballs! Jezzael Brett got eyeballs! In death. She's dead. She's dead. It's also got a butt. Look at that butt right there. Look at that butt. But more importantly, look at the eyes. The eyes. The eyes are the window to the soul, and the soul is the window to the butt. All right, let's back out of here and keep playing. I can't believe he's had a photograph like that up his sleeve the entire time. It's such a stark image. I'm genuinely lost for words. Wait a minute. I don't understand. How did you? Who took that photograph? The reporter guy. Hopefully we'll get his name soon. Maybe it'll have the same initials, RM, as on the pen. He's gonna be classic Hollywood actor Robert Meacham. Isn't that his name, Robert Meacham? Anyway, I've always thought he'd be good in like a if they did a Batman movie back then as either Bruce Wayne or Harvey Dent.
Ray!
Objection!
That's of no importance here. Stop trying to divert attention. Oh.
Objection!
Objection.
Ha! That's an absurd.
That's an absurd thing to say. It's crucially important. Whoever took this photographic print was a witness to Miss Brett's death. The court must be allowed to hear this person's testimony.
Whoa!
I will uphold the defense's demand. The prosecution will reveal the identity of the person responsible for taking this photograph at once. Okay, I mean, it's obvious. But obviously, I'm locking in my guess. It is the photographer who has been taking pictures of Soseki Natsume.
Ooh. Well, I'm afraid I can't do that.
Pardon?
You see, his print arrived at the Imperial Police Bureau headquarters by express post yesterday. But there was nothing to indicate the sender's name or address. The provenance of the print is unknown.
Goodness!
Are we to understand, then, counsel, that in full knowledge of the fact that this photograph has the murkiest of origins, you nevertheless believed it fit for submission as evidence in the Supreme Court?
When you first produced that print before, I noticed that you hesitated for a brief moment. Because you knew that it wasn't completely reliable evidence, didn't you?
Silence, you yokel student and blabbering professor! What matters is the blatant truth that this print is so eloquently expresses.
Okay, so we're gonna present the newspaper as evidence to show, to link it to the photographer from that, and we'll be able to find it out. It's just drawing it out needlessly. Just let's get to the guy.
But the defendant has already admitted to pulling the blade from the wound. Clearly, this isn't the moment that the knife was plunged into the victim's back, but...
See, okay, that's a good argument, thank you!
The moment it was withdrawn. Don't waste the court's time with your ramblings.
Oh, and the poll is done. Apparently I'm afraid of puppies, parentheses, he kicks them with 52% of the vote. Second place was women with 24%. The Dark in third with 14%. Lord Shiro contributed 9 channel points. Distant last place was a tie between vanilla and chocolate shakes and candy corn. So thank you, Rukov, from your lurking position for the poll. I can just tell it's a Rukov poll. Rukov's cognitive fingerprints are all over it. I should read some more in the chat. Let's see. Kaimi says, whose chest is bigger, Zoro or Yurijo Hanma? Oh, is that the guy from Baki the Grappler? Kaimi says, I'm so glad I'm not as tall as my younger sib. They're a bit taller than you think. Crystal says, bonkers. Eglin says, I did not think you were 6 feet tall. You get 5'7" energy. Me? Oh, hang on, there's a pin message. Rukov says, you're welcome. See, I knew it. Thank you, Rukov. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a great weekend. Hang on, I've mentioned before that I'm 6 feet. This is not a secret. Is this like the time, do you guys remember one time when our good buddy Z Diggity was streaming? And I stopped by his place. I was picking up something and he was in the middle of a stream. And so I walked in the background of his stream and I was like, hey, everybody. And I kind of talked. And then I posted a picture from his stream on the Discord. And you could see like almost my full body because I'm like walking in the background and people are like, what? Logan looks so much taller in real life. He has like a full body and everything. I'm like, yes, I am a person. I'm not a Muppet anymore. Not since I wished on that star. But yeah, and like when I posted the video of like the plays I've done, I'm a full-sized person. I'm a real boy! Oak said Logan is actually just a little boy tall and 20 grams or so, according to his missing poster. Kai said Game wants you to play with the shaft. Shiro says the tip of the pen got shafted. Let me take a look over the YouTube chat. Dura says she was stabbed through a knife glory hole. I regret thinking and specifically typing that. I regret saying that. That's an oddly shaped one of those. I assume I've never actually seen one in real life. I think the most I've ever seen of that type of thing is in like a Robot Chicken sketch. Radiant says, why is Twitch chat talking about melons? Are you talking about melons, Twitch? I think melons are pretty good. I love a good cantaloupe. Not so keen on honeydew, though. Shira says, don't question Radiant. They weird over there. Yeah, sure. They are weird over there. Edward says, Radiant is the real question. Why YouTube chat? Is it? That's right, YouTube chat. What's y'all's favorite melon? YouTube chat? Oh, I just scrolled down. I gotta scroll up a little bit. Oh, Derma says /J. Radiant says evil and freaky Dermo. Derma says, what's your favorite melons? I'm partial to a bit of watermelon myself. Watermelon is good. It's just stressful if you don't get the seedless kind. And sometimes if you don't get like a good ripe one, it's just, well, I guess any melon, if you don't get a good ripe one, it's kind of flavorless. Derma says, Radiant, dang, how'd you guess my full title /J? And then Radiant says, I've only ever had watermelons. Radiant says, that's crazy. Yeah, you're being dubbed as that unless you ask me not to /J. Oh, Queen Katie over on YouTube said, I don't know when you'll see this message, but sorry in advance. I put some cursed stuff in the Twitch chat and Crystal cleaned up as much as they could. Now I kind of want to see what that cursed stuff is. I'll be back to it soon. Hopefully very soon. But we're almost the 2-hour mark. Time has been once again flying. I've just been so looking forward to hanging out with you guys. This weekend has kind of been just for me from being sick. Like yesterday, I didn't have to be up for anything in the morning for once. It was so nice because it was like a Saturday. And it's like, I woke up in the morning, I'm like, oh, I'm feeling sick. I'm gonna go back to sleep. And I ended up taking a nap from that time. When I woke up, it was like, 8:30 or whatever, just when I naturally woke up. I went back to sleep and slept until, or maybe it was a little bit later than 8:30, but whatever time it was, I fell back. I slept till 3 in the afternoon. I guess I needed it for recovery from the cold, but it's like, then I woke up and the day was just gone. Okay, let's play a bit more, then I'll be back to the chat soon.
The moment it was withdrawn, don't waste the court's time with your ramblings.
Okay, well, give me some evidence that it's not. Prove it, Ouchie! Because again, you wouldn't stab when she's already down on the ground, right?
Indeed, without knowledge of who produced this print, we have no means of verifying the claim.
Oh crap, so it means that the photographer is the murderer. Because the photographer's gonna come in and say, oh yeah, I saw her, she stabbed him, totally stabbed him. I liked that photographer guy. Who was it here that was saying that the photographer guy you think should be my normal voice? Does that mean that you think I'm just like that photographer guy? Do you think I'm a murderer?
And the scene it captures is without doubt the most compelling evidence presented to the court. If the defense is unable to shed any further light on the matter, I believe the conclusion is clear.
No, it's not!
Oh no!
Susato, this is the time for you to fight. If what you established so far is true, then there can be no doubt. This photograph shows the moment that Ray withdrew the blade from the victim.
Oh yes, we just need to prove that somehow. You'll have plenty of time to rue your defeat in the slow train back to the provinces. And to rue the day you came up against Taketsuchi Ouchi in a court of law. If I can't determine who took the photograph, then the trial is going to come to an end. There must be a clue somewhere. There must be some way of working out who took it.
Well, counsel. Like I said, obviously we're going to present in the newspaper. I'm going to save, though, just in case I'm dumb or the game's dumb. If one of us is dumb, I'm going to save just in case. Back out of here.
Your Excellency, the burning question is who took the photograph, and the truth is,
I have the answer!
This isn't about whether I can or can't come up with the answer now. I simply have to. Ha! The identity of the person. I also shouldn't say ha like that. Ha! The identity of the person who took this dramatic photographic print is, I assure you, something the defense can and will reveal. What? No, you can't possibly.
Well, Ouchie, if you're so sure that she's guilty, you shouldn't care.
But as you so boldly claim that you can, please do enlighten us. Unfortunately, I'm unable to present a name. How utterly underwhelming. Do you really believe you could? However, I am able to present evidence. The defense has a piece of evidence that reveals the important details about the photographer's identity. What?
Very well then, counsel. Present your proof to the court. Which piece of evidence do you claim reveals something about the identity of the mysterious photographer? Says Seki Natsume article. Present!
Take that!
What's that? What's that? Newspaper again? What, yeah? Raucous England returnees tell all!
It's not the headline that's relevant here, Your Excellency. It's the photograph.
if you look at it closely, you'll notice that there are some white lines on the right-hand side.
Ah, yes, indeed. Oh, I remember my days in college, all the white lines we'd enjoy. Trading stocks on the stock market, popping up our collars on our polo shirts. Oh, love those white lines. They had already caught my eye as it happens.
Oh, what of it? A shadow of some kind, presumably from the branches of a tree or the like. Shadows are often white.
There are no trees growing inside my laboratory at the university, I can assure you.
Now, if you look closely at this photograph,
At least we're not having to click the lines. The game's trusting us enough.
Good gracious!
yes, exactly the same pattern of lines is present on this photograph too.
I'm gonna read some more in the chat. It's taken us a while to get there, but I think my goal is within this hour, because we just passed the 2-hour mark, I want to get that photographer guy on the stand. I want to at least get to his testimony. Let's see. Let me take a look at the chat here. Over on Twitch, Sheer says the tip of the pen got shafted. Magpie says, either way, I need to pack my climbing gear in order to look Logan in the eyes while we're talking. Wait, how tall are you, Magpie? An oak with a clip. Like I said before, once again, if you're lurking, if you're new, if you don't know the deal, if you post a clip in the chat, we watch the clip together. Oh, crap, it still says I'm an hour behind. Also, I'm very worried about the title on this clip. It's titled, Logan is a Perverted Freak. Oh crap, I know what it's gonna be, it's the pen. Oh, I can't click the tip? I just want to click the tip. Oh, I can click the shaft. It let me click the shaft, but not the tip?
Cause it's a game!
You need to make sure that you give the tip as much love as the shaft. Thank you, Monokuma, for getting in the way of having to hear all that over again. I appreciate that, Monokuma. Thank you very much. I'm guessing that was probably Rukov who did that. Thank you for the clip, Oak. Oak says, I wanted to name this clip Logan is a sex pervert, but I don't think Twitch would like that very much. I'm surprised they were okay with this much. With perverted freak, I guess that's milder. Kyvie says, if we're going by online lore, Logan would need to go to space to look me in the eye. Quickett says, underneath the article concerning Natsume, a bullhead logo can be seen. Oh, I mentioned that before! Which resembles that used by La Carnival and its take place in the Adventure of the Great Departure, aka the first case of the game. I mentioned that! I was right! Because I said, oh, I wonder if that's like an ad for it. It looks like the same logo. Yay! Atlantic! How you doing? Says, oh, Oak already got the clip laughing. That pen clip was what I walked into, by the way. I'm so sorry. Kevin said I was just about to mention us. Logan and me think so alike. For real, for real. Queen says, Soseki, yeah, I was accused of murder over there, but I slept unwell. I met people who made me anxious. Kevin says, a murder, huh? Atlantic says, Erector sounds like a Doofenshmirtz invention for his ... Would it be like the Erectinator or something like that? They always use the end in like inator or something, which brings up to my mind, for the record, I know I've said this before, and most of you probably don't care. The weirdest word that we use so commonly in the English language that we act as like the most normal thing in the world to say. Oh, I gotta wait to tell you, apparently. Yes? Oh, why did TTS not say that? Stay lonely, my friend. Why is TTS girl demurring from saying stay lonely now? Well, thank you, Rukov, for the 10 bits. I assume it means you're going to sleep. Does TTS girl think that's a mean? Maybe is it because lonely is capitalized? I don't know. But thank you, Rukov, for the 10 bits. I'm sorry TTS girl declined her duties. But thank you, Rukov. Sleep well. Have a good rest of your night. But yeah, the weirdest word is refrigerator. Think about it. Like fridge means like frigid. And so it's like fridge. And you're refridging it. So you're making it cold again. Refridge. Orator. How many words do we have that end in orator? That is like a Doofenshmirtz name. It's like, this is the refrigerator. That is like, in modern day English, you would never name something like that. A refrigerator. And we just say the word, it's the refrigerator. It's the most normal thing ever to say, refrigerator. Just shows how like being used to something can make it sound mundane and normal. Eglin says, well, that would be the erectinator, see? There we go! Kuya says, random thought that I must now speak of the universe. Chewbacca. Chewbacca is from Kashyyyk! That's what it was! Why was I thinking Tillamook?
Refrigerator.
Refrigerator. Inator instead of orator. Maybe that's what it could be. Thank you, Kaifi, for the 10 bits. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so it's Kashyyyk. I was getting confused. Is Tillamook, is that like the language they speak then or something like that? Or maybe I'm just thinking of Tillamook, Wisconsin. Isn't that a place, Tillamook, Wisconsin, where all the like cheese comes from? I think. I could be getting them confused. Wisconsin is probably very similar to Kashyyyk. Let me check over on YouTube chat. Derma says, crazy. I was crazy once. They put me ... Radiant said, but anyway, I haven't had honeydews or cantaloupes. Oh, you're missing out on cantaloupes. Derma said, Quick Eddie, don't worry. We're trying to get you, we're trying to outdo you over here. I'm morbidly curious what that was, though. Apparently, it's like an hour away before I'll reach the melon talk. Radiant said, probably more melon, the other kind, Dermo, talk. Maybe melon was a euphemism. Radiant says, except it might be worse than what they already covered. Also, I should mention in the Discord server, I am not Enna anymore. I became Dante. Limbus Company, not Devil May Cry, or Dante's Inferno. Okay, they were clarifying. I didn't know that Limbus Company had a Dante in it. I did one time in a recent Steam sale. They had like the Devil May Cry collection, like the original games on sale for like $5 for like all 3 of them. So I got that. I mean, eventually we're gonna have to play something else once Deltarune is done. I do want to finish the run of Deltarune and then see if I can try and do the weird route, but then after that I gotta play a different game. I'm leaning toward maybe some Resident Evil Requiem, but I'd love to hear if people have other suggestions. Radiant said, though I've heard DMC is good. Dermo says, Radiant, so apart from Dermo, since I'm into music, I got the alternative names D Major when then someone accidentally inverted it to Major D, which I had to shut down quick. And then Queen says, Dermo, I feel like by some context clues you might figure it out, though I could always tell you in Discord lol. And then Dermo with a message retracted, and Radiant says, Major D, oh gosh, he get it, no, what, huh? Oh, and a pin message has appeared over on Twitch, written by Rukov, says, artificial refrigeration was first demonstrated by William Cullen. Wasn't that the vampire guy in like Twilight? Or no, it's Edward, right? Okay, so whatever, it's probably like his dad. In 1748, and the earliest refrigeration machines developed in the first half of the 19th century, but the word refrigerator is much older. It dates to the early 1600s. See, that's what I'm saying, it's like a weird old-timey word. And refrigerate from the Latin verb refrigerare, and ultimately from the adjective frigus, meaning cold, dates to the preceding century. Frigus also gave us our adjective frigid. It should be noted that as is consistent with Latin words frigus and frigerator. So yeah, the orator is like the old-timey part, but yes. Okay, let's play some more of the game and then I'll be back to both chats soon. I already missed y'all. I'm gonna have a sip of water. We're gonna get into this.
Yes, exactly the same pattern of lines is present in this photograph too.
Objection!
Well, that tells us nothing. Yes, it's a shadow of some kind, definitely from the branches of a tree.
I say there's no tree growing in the hut either.
There wouldn't be any trees growing inside a hut at the beach council. No!
What's quite remarkable about it is that the two patterns are absolutely identical, almost as if cracks on a lens. Too bad cameras don't use lenses, right? I don't know. How could such an extraordinary similarity have transpired?
Oh crap, the curious matching pattern that appears on both photographic prints is a result of...
camera defect. I'm gonna save though, just in case I'm wrong. But I'm pretty confident. I took a photography class when I was in high school. It was kind of fun. We learned like old-timey black and white photography with like dark rooms and developing fluids and things. It was really neat. A camera defect.
Obviously, it must be due to a problem with the camera used to take the photographs. With the photographic device?
Yes, we can confidently say that the camera's lens must be scratched, and that the scratched lens caused unwanted lines to appear on every print taken with the device.
Okay. I'm just trying to remember though, because like I do remember when we used the old-timey cameras in that class. Excuse me, you would of course turn the lens in order to focus. It would move it out like that. Did that rotate the lens? Like the crack, if it was a different focal length, the lens would be in a different spot, right? Because as long as there's no crack in the lens, you wouldn't notice the rotating lens.
In short, the two photographs under consideration here were taken with the same camera. But... Oh, there must be hundreds of such camera devices here in the capital. It would be utterly impossible to identify the owner of this particular one.
No, one's in the newspaper, bro. Ask the newspaper who took that photograph. You dumb ouchie.
Objection!
I think you're forgetting, Prosecutor Ouchie. that one of the photographs featured in a newspaper article. A newspaper? Whoa! That's right. Spitting! The author of that article is the mystery witness to this crime!
Hubbub, hubbub, hubbub. Do boys and girls point differently? Many Mo? Many Mo. Many, isn't that a song lyric? Many Mo. Oh, wait, Soseki. Many Mo. I see why you were called Raucous English Returning. What is Many Mo? That's what he said, right? Many Memo. What?
What are you yelling about? You've already testified!
Oh, that's the guy's name! I thought he was just shouting an expletive. It's Many Memo, I tell you! Many Memo! Mo. Why was the meh a pelvic thrust into the camera? Mo. Oh, yeah.
I have never been so turned on in my life. So Seki-san, what was that? Did you say many memo?
Ever since I returned to Japan, a reporter from the Shoyu News has been hounding me, following my every move. Show you, because the news is going to show you, huh? We got to get his full name to see what the pun's going to be, though, right? Oh, there we go! A reporter by the name of Raiten Menimo! Wait, no, hang on. I also got to breathe a little bit. Let me try it again. A reporter by the name of Raiten Menimemo! Yes, hounding me from dawn till dusk. Okay, so it's Raiten, like writing, or write in, but probably writing or write in. Memo is like your memo pad. Many memo. Writing many memo. Oh, apparently he's writing many memos? Is that what he does? He's writing many memos? Either that or write in meh. Then why the need there? I'm gonna guess that the name fact is that he is writing many memos. Yes, hounding me from dawn till dusk. And I'll assume that Queen Katie is gonna have a name fact. Oh, but we'll have to take away the other pin message first in order to be able to get that one pinned when it shows up. So I'm ready to cut more comments in the chat then, since I'm like an hour behind on Twitch. If you're lurking and putting up with how far behind I am in the chat, I appreciate you. I think you're awesome. Queen says, also realizing I hope Chewbacca is the only voiced character in the LEGO Star Wars game. Everyone is silent and must do gags to get story across while Chewbacca just goes. Is that? I've tried to do a Chewbacca sound. I don't know if that's right. Is that what a Wookiee sounds like? Kaiva said, my favorite two Jedi as a kid were Mace Windu, because the purple lightsaber and how cool he was with it, and Ayla Sekura. I don't know who that other person is, but as I'm sure you know that was famously like Samuel L. Jackson requesting a purple lightsaber. That wasn't even like an option before. But he's like, man, I just really want a purple lightsaber. And how can you say no to Samuel L. Jackson? Kaiva says, and they still are. Anyway, I am growing out my sideburns to see what they look like grown out. Hey, I'm a fan of sideburns. Kaiva says they're like a quarter of the way to look at noise, methinks. Shiro says, oh my, he might not realize what the game is pointing towards here. I see some people get stuck on this. Oh, I think he's figuring it out. Queen says, I have guide wafers and a timestamp 1 hour 4 minutes. I am over an hour behind. What just fell down? I think when I slammed the table, something fell. What was that? What fell? What fell? I can't even see anything. I don't even know what fell. That was like a ghost falling item thing. Well. Something fell, and I don't even see anything on the ground, so I'll have to go finding it later. But yes. An hour behind. Kaiva said, I'm hungry from doing exercise before my sitting down to record and edit time for a snack. I had my head do a 360 in my dream once. I felt every snap and crack. Was it satisfying or was it painful? Queen says, I couldn't smell in the dream, but I could tell that the dream Katie was hating and wanted out. Kaiva says, it hurt! Lord Shiro says, my wild remards? about stabbing people. Oh, probably remarks. About stabbing people with knives is confusing, Logan. Good, my chaos is taking hold. Magpie says, to be fair, Gotham looks half abandoned already, so that tracks. Just the fact they could have, like, an abandoned warehouse district. Eglin says, my most recent dream was celebrating someone's birthday in a big theater room. At some point, someone started having a medical episode. I think it was the birthday girl, and I could not for the life of me find my stuff, so I didn't leave it behind before rushing to the dream hospital for the dream woman. Like, the whole time, I was like, just go without me. I'm taking too long to find my stuff. I'll meet you there later. And my friend who was getting into the car. That's gotta be super stressful. I'm so sorry. Kuikita says, if it was a movie theater, maybe it was like epilepsy seizure, because lately certain movies have felt the need to have flashing in them without warning. Kuikita says, little does he know about the pupils. Eglin says, not exactly movie theater, more like a stage theater, with the stage being where the main party area was for some reason. I've told you guys a story about the time that there was an audience member who had a seizure during one of our shows, one of our improv shows at the theater. Share with some emotes. Kuikita with some emotes. Here says, Ryu Taro, objection, theme goes off. And the more emotes, Eglin says, I do remember a bunch of neon lights though, so it could be no clue why my asleep brain came up with that. So I guess if I have a mystery medical episode during my birthday in like a week, I hope someone gets my stuff so it doesn't get lost. Queen says, careful around neon lights, I suppose. Eglin said, my only plan is Red Lobster, so unless my brother F's around for no reason and takes me to a rave, I should be fine, question mark? Queen says, or worse, Red Lobster has insanely wonky light that refuses to die even when it should. Kyrie says, mentioned FG? I don't know what that is, but then there's an Mpreg emote. Crystal with some laughing emotes and slow mode enabled. Kaifi said, all right, back to editing I go. Enjoy your edit, Kaifi! Quita says, Crystal! There was a clip roulette. Crystal says, vomit. The Crystal says, my dream gives me OC ideas. I just watched a movie trailer earlier thinking it looks cool. And then they mentioned Raccoon City. Oh yeah, it's the new Resident Evil movie that looks like it has nothing to do with Resident Evil other than the fact that there are zombies in it. I mean, it looks interesting, but it doesn't look very Resident Evil-esque. I don't know why they can't just do a Resident Evil movie that is just the story of Resident Evil. Why they always gotta, like, now we gotta come up with some other character that just happens to be in this particular zombie universe. Because if it's other characters, then it's just a generic zombie movie. Queen says, good or bad? Crystal says, trailer looks good. Raccoon City is in Resident Evil. Crystal says, Resident Evil is having a movie. And then here's a crossed out message by Queen Katie that Crystal is crossed out. So I think we should all read this together and see what cursed stuff that Queen Katie didn't want us to find out about. So let's see. It says, if bad, then you just remind me of the time I saw a trailer for what would have been a really cool Muppet murder mystery movie, and then for some reason, they put in a messy Muppet sex, literally part of the movie and included in the trailer, Muppet sex. Mind you, is not the official Muppet. You know, here's a funny thing. Kermit the Frog has said some really crazy things, like even back in the Jim Henson days. And like immediately after like Brian Henson or whatever, like I saw a clip one time where he was on some talk show, and it must have been like the 90s or the 2000s or something. They were talking about like some adult videos or something like that, and some I think it was like some lawsuits that were going on, and then Kermit the Frog was just going like, well, that's the thing here. I've got nothing against that. We at the Muppets have nothing against porn. It's just not what we do. And it's just like, why did you use the word porn, Kermit? I'm pretty sure I've also heard like outtakes where Kermit the Frog is like sworn before, which is like just really unsettling. Chris with a ... Queen says, it's Muppet-like puppets. I hope I didn't give you images of Kermit doing it. Not just doing it! Doing it piggy style. Crystal says, stop laughing! Kylie says, it feels good to finally get 2 videos done after not uploading for a month. Queen says, I'm sorry, I just had to make sure. I would look up the name of this Muppet-like movie, but I don't want to look it up after seeing the horrible trailer. Just pretty much look up any Muppet-like murder mystery movie, and you might find it. And then Kylie says, have you all seen that parody movie of FNAF, Willy's Wonderland? I don't know if I've seen the trailer or not. I've heard of parody movies of FNAF, but I don't know specific ones. And Queen says, nope, because I'm not into FNAF, though I do like the fox from the game. One of these days, I should watch the second FNAF movie. And a hydrate command from Queen Katie. Thank you very much for the hydrate command. I think we all need a glass of water after all that steamy Muppet interactions. Let me take a look over the YouTube chat. Radiant says, Major D, oh gosh, he gets it, no. Shira says, imagine providing evidence with no idea where it came from. Radiant says, the 10 dumbest decisions to make in court. I just scrolled without me, I gotta scroll up again. There we go. Oshiro saying, I know, right? I'm the one that mentioned the voice for the reporter because I feel your voice is very reporter-esque, and he is a reporter, so it's fitting in that regard. Okay, so it's not because you think I'm a murderer, because he's probably the murderer here. Radiant said, $5 for all three is a steal. You should consider Limbus Company, by the way, completely free of charge. Is that the first one in the series? Because we talked about this last time, how apparently there's like a couple of ones in that series, right? Radiant says, though, because it's free, they gotta make money some other way, purchasable currency, for example, but you can get the currency for free, it's just different from playing for it. What exactly is the genre of that game? Derma says, narrator, collaborator, defibrillator, generator, moderator, decorator, orator. It's not that uncommon. I don't know, maybe it just seems weird. Fridge orator. Well, and those aren't, I guess orator, mod, orator. It just seems like an old-timey suffix to me, but maybe you're right, Dermo. Shira says, took me way too long to notice the cracks in the two photos. I'm pretty sure the lenses in this time period weren't capable of adjusting focal distances. They were all fixed. I'm a professional photographer, by the way. Okay, so that'll explain it then. So maybe you just had to be like at a specific distance and some of them would be more blurry. But also, correct me if I'm wrong, back then, weren't they more like, well, I guess it sounds like maybe this might be early 1900s. I'd assume this was late 1800s. But like way back, I don't think they even had like regular photographs. They had daguerreotypes, right? Which were the things which they were onto like photosensitive metal plates or something, and they would do the whole thing where you have you put the curtain over you and you take the thing, and people have to like stand still for like 30 seconds, otherwise they turn out blurry. That's why if you look up old-timey photographs of like families, oftentimes if they have like small children or puppies, they'll be like all blurry because they wouldn't hold still while the rest of the family is just like there. And why they also wouldn't smile, because it would be hard to hold a smile for like, however many minutes straight. But maybe you can elaborate more on that since you're a professional photographer and I am clearly not. Okay, let's play a bit more of the game because we're losing lurkers because I'm not playing the game. I assume that's why. Also might have been all the hot Muppet on Muppet action. Yes, hounding me from dawn till dusk.
Ah, now that he mentions it.
And there's the guy. They secretly spy, snapshot, scribble stories, and scupper my privacy. I think it's the guy's sideburns. I dig it. And he's got good hair. A large nose, though.
Could that same reporter be?
Well, let's take a look at his camera. And I also said before he's got the ink stain, which might just be a consequence of writing. It's like, yeah, reporters back then all have ink stains right there. But it also might be a clue that they're just like making you think, no, this is just a quirk of his character design. Maybe it'll be important. I'm still looking forward to seeing Queen Katie's name fact about this guy, but I don't know, maybe we have to wait until we meet him. A camera to the left of him, a notebook to the right! There I am, stuck in the middle with Right and Manny Memo! Da-da-da-da-da. Stuck in the middle with him. Ba-da-da-da-da. Stuck in the middle with him. Isn't that the song that played when they slice off the ear in Reservoir Dogs? Because I really want to start cutting off ears right now. Yeah, so you're saying that this picture was taken by Manny Memo? Oh, yeah. Is it a song thing? What was the name of the band who did the song Stuck in the Middle with You? Because I feel like there's a band that, hey, Stuck in the Middle with You. No, the Steelers Wheel. Okay, never mind. Oh, no, I know what I'm thinking. I'm thinking of Manny Mo, which I think was a nickname for Emmanuel Lewis. I only know that because of a Robot Chicken sketch. This is like the third time I think I mentioned Robot Chicken this week. It was very informative on my knowledge of pop culture, I think. Manny Mo, I think, yeah, that was like a nickname for Emmanuel Lewis, wasn't it? I think, Manny Mo. Yes, my lord, your excellency, Esquire! Officer! Find this newspaper reporter at once and bring him to my courtroom! We will adjourn for a short recess in the meantime. Oh, does that mean I'm reaching the end of Queen Katie's second? Oh, no, first page. First page, right? The second half of the first page. Oh, and a pinned message has appeared on Twitch. This has got to be Manny Memo's name fact, right? Written by Queen Katie, pinned by Vero. Vero! Vero, I was so happy today that when I checked my phone for the first time, there were 24 notifications waiting for me for the Transformers channel. Oh, crap! The pinned message disappeared. Oh crap, it went away, Okay, so never mind. I guess I have to, I'll check that out in a minute. Maybe I wasn't supposed to see it yet. We will adjourn for a short recess in the meantime.
Oh, yes, your excellency.
And also, we should use that opportunity to talk to Ray and find out if there's anything else she's not telling us.
As you say, Your Excellency.
And one more thing. I want this knife with the murder weapon examined for traces of poison.
Well, you're not going to see him because in the, where was it? In the article about it, it says right here, current methods cannot detect the newly developed chemical. The university would have to be consulted. So yeah, he's going to do that and they'll say they found no poison. They'll have to present evidence. We're just dragging it out.
I want this knife, the murder weapon, examined for traces of poison.
Can you add to the court record? I want to like click it and stuff.
You will solicit the assistance of the Imperial University's medical department for the task. Understood? Oh, okay, so maybe we'll get a specialist.
Who? Meh. Ah! Many memo!
Hubbub. No, I think it's really a dude. It's a dude. It's totally a dude. To be continued.
Took us under 2.5 hours to get there tonight. So also, because we're close to the 2.5 hour mark, now is a good time to start keeping an eye out for raid suggestions for later on 3 hour. I was worried I might have to end the stream early tonight if my voice goes out because the sinus infection thing that I'm going. I hope my voice sounds normal-ish. But save my poggers! Yes, save my poggers! 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 Oh, I see the pin message is back. I'll check it out in a second as soon as we get some background music again.
13th August, 10:41 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature. Defendants antechamber. 3.
Now we got some music. I'm so sorry, Susato. Okay, the pin message, written by Queen Katie, pinned by Vero, says his Japanese version name is Heita Mamemomi. His surname, Mamemomi. It's so weird that sounds so similar to ours. It said it might come from memoru, which is a Japanese-English fusion verb meaning to write a memo. His full English name is a pun on writing many memos, referencing his Japanese name. Okay, that's really cool how like similar it ended up being while still maintaining the pun. I dig that. I'm impressed by that. So thank you, Queen Katie, for the name fact. In fact, I should read some more in the chat because I am still super far behind in the chat. Let's see. Kaiva says, I read that. Kaiva says it has Nicolas Cage as the mute main protag. Oh yeah, I have seen some about that then. Said, you know what? I don't want to put that cursed message onto Logan. Crystal, can you delete all of that? Lol, I legit cringed myself into being ashamed. Oh, and I can click to show the message here so I can read it all over again if I want to. So yeah. If bad, then you just reminded me of the time I saw a trailer for what would have been a really cool Muppet murder mystery movie, and then for some reason they put this messy Muppet sex. If only there was some way that you could have a synonym for sex that started with an M, so it'd be messy Muppet and then that. Kaiva says, better to lie with your eyes. Then lie with your hips! Thank you, Queen Katie. I'm past it. Thank you very much. Yeah, Kaiva says better than to lie with your hips. I thought hips don't lie, though. Kaiva says, Visage. Magpie says, I haven't seen it, but I've wanted to. It looks like fun. Lol. Crystal says, these hips do lie. Bach? And then Shakira / reference. Clea says, hey, Logan, sorry in advance to put something very cursed in the chat. And Crystal is cleaning up the damages. Oh, so I probably shouldn't have read that stuff then, huh? Kaiva says, it's pretty funny in some parts, but there's the usual horror movie naughty scene, which I always get past. Not relevant to the story at all. Crystal says, unless you gotta get the couple killed together while doing it, I'm skipping it. Kaiva says, I shall not tell. Crystal says, for shame / Jake. Crystal says, Queen says, at least we only know. Anyway, time for that snack. I keep forgetting, unless you tell Logan later. Crystal says, nah. Queen says, it'll be funny watching Logan get to my message where I talked about looking something up without any context. Oh, I don't know, Logan, maybe because Ray's book, aka Susato's dad, probably would have been a little mad. Oh, boss, Susato's dad would have been a little mad. I guess, but like, we should have consulted with her about it. Kaiva says, is that Logan making the judge sound sexist as F, or just the judge in actuality? A little bit from column A, a little bit from column B. Queen says, I mean, he did the same for the British judge. Fair enough, carry on. One thing I'm surprised, as I'm going back and watching the old VODs for this, I, on multiple occasions, apparently did a joke that established that the British judge only married his wife because she has giant badonkers. I didn't even realize that, so it's happened enough, it's established. Oh, Vera says with a pin message, Messy Muppets mating! Yes! High five to you, Vero. That wins the night. Messy Muppet mating. So Seki would be so pleased. He'd be so impressed by this. Thank you, Vero! Kaiva says, fair enough, carry on. Looks like this almost empty jar. Peanut butter shall survive another day. I already got a tablespoon out of it. Rukov says, sorry, the streak isn't longer. Oh, 7 stream streak, no worries. I keep getting my streaks set on other people's channels broken, so I can't maintain a long one. Kyvie says, I was going to make a joke, but it was going to sound way too weird for me either way. Queen says, oh my gosh, actual Brett eyes closed, but whoa, in a timestamp 1 hour, 48 minutes. I'm still 45 minutes behind. Let me take a look at the YouTube chat. Durma says, the end fix, which has always struck me as odd, is to toot. Like a prostitute? Institute, substitute, and prostitute are the only ones I can think of. Constitute as well. Radiant says, I mean, Lobotomy Corporation takes place before Limbus Company, lore-wise. But which came out first, though? Durma says, I told Queen Katie telling you not to read their messages would backfire, so I guess I can pose question. If they're hand-operated puppets, does puppet sex count as a handshake or a hand? It depends on if it's simulated or if the Muppets are actually doing it, I think. And that is true. Here's the thing. If I had stumbled upon a deleted message, I would have just assumed, oh, there's probably an accidental spoiler in there. I should not read it. But because I knew it was just because it was cringe, I'm like, well, now I have to read it. Radiant says, so maybe play Lobotomy Corporation if you want to keep up with the lore. Oh, it just scrolled. Now I got to scroll up. There we go. Radiant says, but if you just want to play the game, you can play Limbus Company. Shira says, it's like 1899 when this game takes place. Okay, so would that be daguerreotypes or actual photographs then? Durma says, sorry to the others, YouTube's having to see that. I can't be that far into the 1900s. It can't be that far into the 1900s for very obvious reasons. Yeah, Archduke Franz Ferdinand is like not dead yet. I don't know. Wait, how old was he when he died? He might not even been born yet. Maybe he was a teenager. I don't know. I don't know how old archdukes are. Shiro says, since you so far back on Twitch, here's the fact from Katie. His Japanese name. Oh, Shiro, thank you. We just read that. So I think we're good, but thank you for transplanting it over here. Shiro says, on writing many memos referencing his Japanese name. Durma says, thanks, Shiro. Yes, thank you, Shiro. Radiant says, this is the weirdest Logan stream I've ever been to. And then Durma with a message retracted. Are our streams weird? Chat, are our streams weird? Kyvie says she looks frustrated at the knife to me. Oh, in the photograph? Yeah, it's like, oh, it's not coming out. I mean, it might be hard to pull a knife out of a lady. I've never done that. Caselli, how you doing? Says, Jezzail's eyes are like Victorian women ankles, it seems. Yeah, it's like you don't usually see them, but then when you get a glimpse of them, it's just because they're just normal, but because you know you're not supposed to see them. It's like scandalous. Rukov saying you're welcome about the poll earlier. Crystal said Logan has said he's 6 feet plenty of times live. See? Thank you for remembering. Kyvie says, more than a talking head, for real. Shira says, I'm tall but not too tall, but everyone I know is the same height or taller than me, which is kind of wild. Crystal says, with neck and shoulders and occasionally hands. Well, good news, you have finally met someone smaller than you. Me. Kyvie said, can't relate. I'm literally just a talking head right now. I can give myself a body whenever I want to. Crystal said, laughing, please do not. Queen said, Logan, no, don't. Crystal said, Logan, no. Oh, that's gonna be when I was reading this stuff, so I'm slowly catching up. Shira says, I don't know you IRL. Kyvie said, nah, I would hear it. Shira says, that's what I'm referring to. Queen says, Vero, just woke up and checked the spoiler chat for cursed stuff I told Dermo with zero context. No! Face in hands. Then Vero says, lol. Hey, friends! Vero, did you get here in time for the... I guess you did, yeah, because you said the messy Muppet mating. All right, so I'm getting close. So let's keep going in the game here. I'm so sorry, Susato. Yeah, this would have been so much easier if you just told me all that stuff earlier, Ray. I should have told you about the toxin. Yes! And the pulling the knife out. And just anything else.
Ray!
You have a strong sense of responsibility, I know. That's why you decided to shoulder the burden alone.
No, that's not it at all. I make bad decisions. I have a self-destructive personality. I feel like I should be convicted in order to punish me for non-existent other crimes I've convinced myself subconsciously that I'm guilty of. I was scared of my failure coming to light, that's all.
I feel like she might also be worried that like pulling the knife out is actually what killed her instead of the poison. That's what I'd be worried about. What if pulling the knife out? I mean, obviously the logical thing is that, excuse me, assuming the poison was on there, that is the thing that gives her a chance of survival. So it's better than leaving it in, definitely dying. It's like a trolley problem. It's like, because the act of pulling it out, if that act kills her, which there's a good chance of that, but it's better than the guaranteed act. And it's like, but then did you really kill her, or did you give her a chance to survive? I would say that ethically that gave her a chance to survive, but that could make someone feel really guilty.
So I hope to retrieve the substance from the English woman before anyone found out.
So obviously we're gonna say that it was probably in the pen, right? That's why there was traces of liquid in there. But then why would the stab wound, or maybe the stab wound, they'll even come back and say, yeah, even the experts at the university couldn't find the poison with their specialist ways. In that case, she was stabbed and also accidentally got the poison in her? Because we do remember in the first case in the first game, it was a very elaborate way of poisoning John Wilson, using the open wounds from his dental surgery.
Before the trial started, do you remember what you said, Susato? That you had no doubt in your mind about my innocence, that you'd stand by me to the last? You said that!
I remember. Oh, look at those hope-filled eyes.
And yet I saw you. I saw you falter. I didn't deserve your trust in me. That should be the name of someone in the future. I hid important details from you, Susato. I completely betrayed your faith in me. Hit me, Susato! I deserve it! No, in fact, throw me to the floor.
Give her a Susato takedown! I want to see it from this side. It's okay if a girl does it to a girl.
No, that's too good for me as well. Drag me through the city streets.
Oh, crap, she has a humiliation kink. No, don't do it if she enjoys it. Do not do it if she enjoys it.
I know better, you know. Why don't you drag me through the streets? I have that same kink. High five!
Oh, high five.
Even though in my heart I knew that you'd pulled the knife blade from Miss Brett's back. There was just a brief moment when, in my mind, I doubted you.
Susato.
I'm sorry. After I stood here and promised you that I'd stand by you and always be by your side, I betrayed your faith in me too. And as such, I failed you as a lawyer.
Oh, no. You're doing fine. Please don't quit. I have no one else to turn to.
I think this situation has taught both of you a valuable lesson. So go ahead, kiss and make up. The player, the audience, the chat, they all want Yuri. Placing your unbridled faith in another is no easy task.
Yes, Father. That fact has certainly struck home. Which is why I can see more clearly now. So, Ray,
Yes?
can you find it in your heart to forgive me?
Oh, Susato. Ah. You know you'll always be a gallant, dashing lawyer in my eyes now.
Oh, Ray.
Is this the real reason why you guys were so against the idea in the first game of shipping Susato with Kazuma? Because you were insistent on Yuri? I still suspect that Susato must have some relation to Kazuma, right? Secret siblings or secret cousins or something like that?
I was so scared, you know, when it happened. I didn't know what was going on. The English woman was sitting in the back of the hut, listening to what I was saying.
I knew it was you. Oh, there's me.
I know it was you who stole the poison.
Well, now, whatever do you mean? Would it be crazy if Jezebel Brett didn't steal the poison and was like genuinely clueless and legitimately just wanted a nice outing at the beach before she was extradited?
And then a moment later, she suddenly got to her feet before collapsing on the floor in front of me with a knife in her back.
Okay, now Ray said she did not see Jezebel Brett eat or drink anything, but there was that spilled wine. I'm just trying to think that if the knife didn't have any poison on it, is there another way that the poison could have gotten into her system? Because I'm still assuming the poison was inside the fountain pen in that little section instead of ink.
It all happened right before my eyes.
And you were the only people in the hut at the time?
That's right, just Miss Brett and myself. There was no one else.
But again, there's a hole in the wall, in the photograph. I won't say what kind of hole, although I believe it was Dermo who pointed out what kind of hole it was.
So I just don't understand how she could possibly have been stabbed like that.
A great mystery indeed.
I still can't believe it happened.
That's why I just couldn't bring myself to speak up.
It'll be all right. However it happened, and whatever really went on by the sea that day, I promise you that I'm going to prove everything you've said is true.
Spoken like a true Mikotoba, and a semi-competent lawyer as well. Now, I think we should discuss what's coming up in the trial, don't you? We don't have much time. We must make sure we have our facts in order.
Thank you for being responsible, Mikotoba, Eugene.
Yes, I expect the poison is going to come under close scrutiny in the upcoming proceedings. The police should hopefully have identified it on the blade by now,
But they're not gonna. And at first we'll think it's because that we need a specialist, but it's gonna turn out it's not on there, it was in the pen instead.
No wonder it does.
The trouble is, it's a completely new laboratory synthesized blend of alkaloids. The police won't have any way of testing for it.
Oh! F. I see. Those are all letters. O, F, I, C.
Yes, without this chemical reagent, it's impossible to detect the toxin.
Why did you not bring that up in there?
Chemical reagent?
I sent a colleague of mine with some earlier to deliver to police headquarters.
Okay, so Eugene is responsible. Thank you, Eugene. And I'm gonna read some more in the chat because I'm still way behind on Twitch. Kyvie says, Veroing individual. Quickita says, anyway, good timing. I think we're about to go to page 2 of the guide, aka the last one, with our lovely little cameraman. Vera said, that's me. I believe Logan can finish the case tonight, honestly. Do you still feel that? Because we got like 20 minutes till the 3-hour mark, and I have a very early, very long day at work tomorrow, so I can't stay up super late. Shira says, please pin. I said it because I feel her voice is very reporter-esque, and he's a reporter, so it's fitting in that regard. We'll see what vibe I get from him. I'm hesitant to do entirely just my voice, because that's what I'm doing for Ryunosuke. Oh, pin message from Vero simply saying, no, I no longer think that. Well, okay. There we go. That is very fair. That is fair. Thank you. Let's see. Queen Katie with a timestamp, 1 hour, 57 minutes. Still about 45 minutes behind, but it's slow mode, so maybe I'll get caught up soon. Queen Katie says, Vero, there's like 3 testimonies on page 2. I don't know about that. Kyvie said that's exactly the voice that they would give him if they gave his this game a dub in English. I can smell it. Shira says 100%. Crystal with an emote. Vero with a lurk. I need breakfast. Enjoy your breakfast, Vero. See you when you get back. Queen Katie says eat well. Shira said it's almost midnight though. Kyvie says he ate them. I ate. Queen Katie says Vero and Crystal are in wild time zones. At least Crystal is 12 hours ahead / behind me. Me at 12 a.m. lol. Magpie says, Magpie is 5'2" or magpie size, depending on if I'm a human shapes or burb shapes. And there was the root cover because it's a game. Shira says, nah, only my time is correct. All other times are lies. Queen says, oh, TDS girl think lonely is a swear now. It might just think it's like an insult, and in addition to censoring swearing, it might censor being mean. Crystal says, yup, 11 a.m. I think it's 6 a.m. for 6 a.m. for Vero, or almost 7. And then Crystal says 6, 7. Queen says, did Logan not get the random thought I had? Chewbacca? Oh, Chewbacca! I didn't realize you were intentionally spelling it that way. Chewbacca! Now I got it. I'm sorry. I just because you told me that you're experiencing Star Wars for the first time with Lego Star Wars, so I assumed that you were just spelling it phonetically and didn't know that his name was normally spelled with 2 C's instead of a K. Thank you, Kitty. Bumbo says refrigerator is a noun where refrigerate is a verb. You do that with a refrigerator. I know, I'm just saying orator. I thought it was old-timey, but I guess Dermo was as counterexamples. Kyvie says that's because he's a Chewbacca. He's a sussy Chewbacca. Quick nods. Kyvie says, do y'all know about anything about the worldwide spider? What? Queen says, what's the worldwide spider, Kyvie? Queen says, oh, now I kind of want to see with Devil May Cry. It's a chaotic series from what I've heard. I wouldn't even know what game to start with that, though. Is it just like a hack and slash? Queen says also $5. That's a steal. I think it was 5. Maybe it was like $7.99. It was a $5.99, $7.99, $4.99, something like that. It was just really, really cheap. Rukov says, in an ad, no! Queen says, and with that, I can now move on to page 2 of the guide. Smiley face here said, waits for the full name to say the bun. Queen says, I even already got the name fact ready. He. Shira says, there it is. Kyvie says, oh my gosh, there was the name fact. Kyvie says, writing many memos, deep sigh. Queen says, just wait till my next fun fact later if Logan realizes a certain something about this name. Many memo? Writing. Maybe it's because he's also not only writing many memos, but they're rotten. He's rotten many memos. Shira says, Logan is super far behind on Twitch today. Quickest said the item went to the void. Something about Deltarune could totally do. I'm bracing for when Logan finds Crystal in chat. Timestamp, 2 hours, 14 minutes. Okay, only like a half hour behind out here with the lurk. Said my goat on screen. Got an egg sandwich. Crystal says, yes. Queen says, oh no, he's about to see the curse. No, Logan, no. Not when Vero got the egg sandwich. That was perfect timing. Vero said, right in front of my egg sandwich? I know, we were talking about things that are done to Muppet eggs. Queen says hands on FaceTimes too. Bubba says, I'm sorry, this happened right now. Queen says, I'm sorry, I was just thinking if he was about to get there. Vera says, I generally don't mind, don't worry. And Bubba says, one of my cats seems to enjoy uppies. Oh, that's nice. My cat doesn't want to be picked up. But then when I do pick her up, she's usually excited to like sniff high up stuff because she doesn't usually climb up high and stuff. Let me read some YouTube chat. And we'll get back in the game. Oh crap, it scrolled without me a whole bunch. I gotta go up. Oh, I gotta go way up. There we are. Derma says, Radiant, this doesn't scratch the top 3 for me. Radiant says, no, this one in particular, like, I'm sorry. What is this stream? Derma says, a strike during Walking Dead, the White Square cult during 100 Line. There's been a few. I'm trying to remember the strike during Walking Dead? Was it that the chat went on strike? I'm trying to remember. And Derma says, Radiant, yeah, is not usually like this. Radiant says, good. Derma says, chat gets wild sometimes. Radiant said, did you just say wild? Limbus Company. Sorry. Derma says, Radiant, I've only seen Lobotomy Corporation. Sorry. Radiant says, dang. Shira says, do the guards not hear the conversation and realize Ryutaro is a woman? I assume that they are just under strict confidentiality or something like that. And they should have been able to hear in the courtroom all the time that we were like whispering back and forth that like Eugene was calling us Susato and stuff like that. Also, just all the times, like, that was a high-pitched shriek. Dura says, well, add humiliation kinks to the list of what is this stream? Shira says, I do not want Yuri. You know, actually, I'm not like huge into Yuri either. I know some people like it. I just know that a lot of the time there have been people talking about Yuri cigs and getting addicted to Yuri and wanting Yuri. So I'm with you on that, Shiro. Derma says, Shiro, don't say that around Frulzy. Also, how about Yuri cigarettes? Yeah, where is Frulzy, by the way? I miss Frulzy. Rivulet says, Cosma is temporary. Yuri is eternal. Shira says, I didn't ship Susato with Cosma because logic doesn't approve of it. Shira says, I say what I want. Dermo. Rivulet says, wait, dang, Dermo, give me the Yuri cigs. And Dermo says, Rivulet, how many packs? And Dermo says, warning, may contain saphiric, which can cause withdrawal from Yaoi. And Rivulet said, you know what they say? 500. Shira says, you are not finishing the case today, lol. Twitch is smoking something. And Radiant says, Twitch chat, can I have some? Okay, so I'm getting close to catching up. Over there, at least. Let me have a sip of water. We'll get back in the game. And then we'll probably end up spending like the last 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 minutes just reading chat.
I sent a colleague of mine off with some earlier to deliver to police headquarters. I think perhaps you should have some as well, though, just in case. The chemical reagent has been entered to the court record, a special indicator solution for a new poison under development by my father's team. It's been created in strict secrecy and exists only in my father's laboratory and in my pocket now. I want to look at the court record. Can we examine it? I want to examine all the things. Can we examine this incriminating photograph? Oh, no, we already did. Yeah, that's when we saw that she had actual eyeballs. Look at that. We move it around. Is there something written on the bottom? I want to read the label. What's the label say? Just reagent.
The label appears to be written in a foreign language that I don't know.
It's German. Achtung, baby. So your knowledge of English is going to be of little help here, I'm afraid.
Couldn't you just have written medicine on it in Japanese? Then we'd all be able to read it.
German is the international language of medicine, my dear. But yes, I can certainly see the merit in labeling the bottle in Japanese.
So it's gotta be like a fun little historical fact, right?
Though I'm not sure medicine would be entirely appropriate.
Oh, that's true, because it's poison. We look at the stopper? No? Oh. The level of the liquid? No? No? Nothing else? Can we, like, pull the little thing out? Okay, so I guess that's it. It's just a lesson about German. Can I shake it? Shake it. Maybe later we'll be able to examine it again, like, unstop it. Let's get back into this now.
What's the matter, Susato? You're suddenly very quiet.
It's this newspaper article. Exclusive! Deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory.
Is she gonna wonder why it's exclusive? Again, it's a self-report! Many Memo probably stole it.
I'm wondering how the information got out, given that it was a government secret.
Oh, but we also need to figure out what Many Memo's motive would be for killing Jezzael Brett. Did he have a connection to John Wilson? I wonder? He better not be Herlock in disguise doing a murder. I'd be sad if Herlock turned out to be a murder.
I'm wondering how the information got out given that it was a government secret. It was all the English woman's doing. What? It was when the professor and Soseki-san were being interviewed at the laboratory that so-called English.
Why are we saying so-called before English? She was English. You could say English so-called lady to imply that she was rude.
Swanned in because she had a swan on her head and without any compunction said to Professor Mikotoba,
Oh, Professor, surely your guest would love to hear about your work on that substance there.
Yeah, I mean, if she had compunction? Compunction? Was that the word? I can't say it without seeing it. Compunction. There we go. She had that. I would have told her.
It put me in a very awkward position, to be frank, but I'm not Frank. Frank was in Metaphor Refantasio. But Soseki-san's curiosity had been piqued, so I had little choice but to give him a cursory introduction.
so then Soseki-san knew about the poison.
Yes, and it's highly likely that the reporter who was writing up the story about us would have caught a glimpse of the toxin too.
This Memo-san. By the way, did that reporter join you all when you went to the beach? Oh no, I don't remember the reporter being there. Except the one place I did not check was right behind the hut by the hole, at a optimal backstabbing height.
Indeed, he shouldn't have been. I very much doubt anyone would have wanted him there.
But we already know he was there, because he took the photo by the hut. Why are we even asking this?
Oh?
A known criminal had been given permission by the authorities to bathe by the seaside. Soseki-san pointed out that inviting a reporter might be problematic, so the man was sent back to his office.
Yet he obviously didn't go back. He secretly followed the party to the beach and took this very candid photograph. And then presumably he posted it anonymously to the internet. I mean, to the police.
Yes, that must be what happened.
Dude's like turn of the century TMZ. Counsel? Yes, were you listening?
We've just heard that the new witness is now ready to testify. The trial is about to resume. Please proceed to the courtroom at once.
Yay! We probably won't do his testimony, but we'll at least get to see Memo.
It's time to steel ourselves once again, then.
Defense attorney Ryutaro Naruhodo.
Yes. Ray has put her faith in me now and told me everything.
There's probably other things that we could have asked her to elaborate. Like what happened, who saw her, like what did she do after she pulled out the knife?
So I can't let her down. I have to prove that what she's telling the court is true. I have to prove what really happened that day.
Less than 10 minutes from the 3-hour mark, we're making it back in the courtroom. Again, possibly last call, for raid suggestions on Twitch.
13th August, 11:30 a.m., Supreme Court of Judicature, Courtroom 1.
Hub. Wait, why do we not see the reporter? We should have seen him, like, from his backside by the stand, right? I hereby call this court to order as we reconvene to continue the trial of Remember Me. Though we have to say goodbye, remember me. Oh, I love Coco. It's the same game. And let's read some more in the chat. And hopefully I can get caught up. I was like a half hour behind still on Twitch. So once again, yeah, if you're lurking, if you post some in the chat, I'll read it. But I need to seriously catch up to chat. So we're just gonna pause momentarily from the game and read some chat. Quiga says to Bumbo, okay, see, that's wholesome, yay, uppies. Bobo says there are a couple of games before Limbus, but I don't blame you if you don't play them. The other two games are tough. Quiga said to Vera, oh yeah, are you able to pin stuff? I put a name fact here earlier. Vera says, yeah, ping me. Queen Katie says this one. Vera says, oops. Queen says, Vera lol. Shira says, I'd copied it to YouTube, but he hasn't read it yet. Vera says, sorry, unpinned by accident. Also, teehee, sorry for the spam. I got excited. Oh, and the Transformers chat. No, I loved it. I was so excited to see everything. I kind of ended up writing a whole bunch back. Kaiba said, what if impact frames determine how strong anime characters were? Quiga says, Logan! Vera said, messy Muppet mating. Quiga said, Vero, no, this is my whole legacy. Quiga says, Muppet sex. Vera says, high five. Kaiba says, mumps. Quiga says, at least Oak's not here. Kaiba says, astute. Quiga says, should have said that it was a spoiler. Kaiba said, Logan should try cosplaying the doorman from Deadlock. I'm gonna Google and see who this is, who this looks like. Doorman from Deadlock. And, oh, I've seen this guy before. Why have I seen this guy before? I'm not even sure I'm familiar with that game, but I've seen this guy before. Oh, you know what? There's a picture of a photo of Germa that someone photoshopped into being him. So that's probably why you think that, because everyone always calls me Kirkland Brand Germa anyway. Kaiba says, the new game being fully released by Valve maybe this year. Timestamp 2 hours, 34 minutes, still 20 behind. Kaiba says, do it, drag us through the streets. We deserve it. My brain is being so mean to me right now. I hate it. I genuinely don't want any mentions of my cursed message in future streams. I would cry for real. My brain does that a few times every week. Vera says, no, I no longer think that. Kaiba says, it lives in a world wide web. The world wide spider. World Wide Web, hey! Quiga says, I think I'm just emotional right now because I need water. Ugh, life being Katie. Kaiba says, you can get emotional from dehydration. You can probably get over emotional from anything that's like, put strain and stress on your body, I would think. Quiga says, I don't know, I'm not usually, I'm usually not sobby, lol. I'm not actually crying, but like I said, brain mean. Kaiba says, I've never noticed that from myself. Quiga says, wait, no, I think I'm just tired, actually. It's past midnight right now, 12:30 a.m. Kaiba says, all medicine can be used as poison, but not all poison can be used as medicine. That's a good distinction. Kaiba said, overdosing is a phenomenon, too. Kaiba said, he's not Frank. He's Mikotoba. He's Eugene Mikotoba. Quiga says, okay, so I'm looking this up. Apparently, yes, it might be that I need water. So BRB, see when you get back, Queen Katie. Magpie says, when upset, always check. Have you eaten? Have you slept? Have you had water? Have you used the restroom recently? If none of those, it is possibly hormones. Kaiba said, we're all just big babies. Magpie says, truly, also sometimes check if you've taken meds, if that's something you have. Also important, vitamins can help all. Queen says, oh my gosh, I'm feeling better already. It was the water. Kaiba said, placebo. Queen says, I'll take it though. Sometimes placebos are great. Kaiba said, great thing about placebo, it would even if you know it's placebo. It works even if you know it's placebo. Queen says, yep, I learned that from Adam Ruins Everything. Queen said, I want to do my own Adam Ruins Everything, but of Adam Ruins Everything. Just find like all the mistakes he's made and ruin Adam Ruins Everything. Queen says, I very wish that show was more accessible. Kaiba said, wish someone would pin me in the chat unless. Eglin says, my friend is obsessed with Deadlock. Kaiba says, I'm obsessed with Deadlock. Well, now you two are friends. All the end is in sight. But let me take a look at YouTube chat as well because I was getting behind there. Dura says, time zones, it's 5 a.m. for me, y'all are weak. Rivulet said, my profile picture is from Love Bullet for a reason, not gonna lie. Me too. Shira says, it's 12:30 a.m. for me. Dura says, oh, hang on, it scrolled without me. I gotta scroll up. Dura says, Rivulet, okay, that'll be 420, wait, is that a pounds or a euros sign? I can't tell on my screen, it's so small. Dura says, my cat is a ragdoll, so you pick them up and they just flop like they're dead. Is that why they're called a ragdoll? I assume it was because of appearance. Star Striker! Why did I say stalker? You're not a stalker! Star Striker! Rated with a party of 3! Welcome! I'm just doing like a quick catch up to chat right now. Would Crystal or Vera be so kind as to do a quick shout out for Star Striker? We'll see a clip over there while I have some water, and then we'll say hi to Raiders. What game is this? Is this Marvel Rivals? I see a cape. I've been tempted to try Marvel Rivals if it is. Oh, dinosaurs! Just because they added my favorite Marvel character, Jubilee, to the game. And I kind of want to try it, even though I have no desire to play a hero shooter. I do have a desire to play a video game as Jubilee.
Does this look like Wesley to you?
What are those type of dinosaurs called? The ones with the big, like, hard dome on their head? I used to know this type of stuff. Everyone when you're a kid goes through a phase where you're, like, super into dinosaurs. But hello, Raiders! Welcome! My name is Logan. We stream Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Sundays. We're right now alternating between this, Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. We've just started the second game in the collection, and Deltarune Chapter 5. This week, however, Friday will probably have to be canceled because I have a work-related commitment, but I also read every comment in chat. So let me read a couple of comments over on Twitch. Let me try and see if I can get fully caught up, because I was almost caught up, and I'll say hi to the Raiders here. Oh, also, I should, I'll do it in a little bit. I'll post a link tree in just a little bit, because we'll be winding down soon, anyway, because we're like 2 minutes away from the 3-hour mark, which is usually where we wind down. So Raiders, if you want to, like, chill for a minute, just relax, and just get on a raid train, I know I'd appreciate that. Let's see. Where did I leave off now? I was almost caught up. Kyvie says I'm getting carpal tunnel from it, and I'm currently getting over it. Eglin said she always wants to play with me, but for some reason I'm nervous, maybe because the only shooter I play is Splatoon, and that hardly helps with anything. Crystal with some raid suggestions! Thank you very much, Crystal. I will copy these over into my text file here as I keep reading more in the chat. Thank you, Crystal. Kyvie says, had to stop playing it for a couple of days. Also, Deadlock is more of a MOBA than a shooter. What's the difference between a MOBA and a shooter? I actually don't know these things. I don't know what MOBA stands for. Guida says, too late, Logan. They literally did an episode where they ruined the show. Oh, okay, good for them. Magpie says, Adam already did that, lol. They did a corrections episode. Quiga says twice, actually. Kyvie said, I was about to say that. Quiga says, both being finales. And there was the raid from Star Striker again. Thank you, Star Striker. Kyvie said, not a raid. And there was a shout out. Oh, you were playing, now I recently heard that it's not pronounced Mecha Chameleon, it's pronounced Mecha Chameleon. Is that correct? But anyway, I heard that they had a recent security breach. That like they had some issues where there were some nasty files that had somehow gotten added during an update, and like their entire Discord server was taken over. Have they resolved that? Is it safe to play Mecha Chameleon again? I hope so. If you were playing tonight, how'd the game go? I assume that you didn't get hacked if you're here now. Star Striker says, Stalker, I don't know why. I don't think of you as a stalker, but when I saw your name appear, my brain just immediately wanted to say Star Stalker. You know what I think it is? I think it's because we've been playing Deltarune, and you have the original Star Walker. And you know, sometimes like words, you just kind of blend the sound of two different words. It's kind of like there's this car wash nearby where I live called the Quick Quack Car Wash. And every time I see it, I don't want to say Quick Quack Car Wash in my head. I want to make it kind of, not really rhyme, but sound snappier. And so I want to say Quick Quack Car Quash. And I'm like, no, it's not, it doesn't crash your car, it washes your car. Quiga says, dinosaur! Chris said you are now a LoganRobo's stalker. I am so sorry. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I think it'd be fun to have a stalker. A nice stalker. Not like, you know, like just killing animals outside my home and leaving it on the doorstep type of stalker. But like the type of stalker that comes over and hangs out and has cookies and watches Netflix with me. Kevin says, oh no, we now have got to play another 30 minutes of Robon Loga. Quiga says, speaking of dinosaur, please do read Dinosaur Sanctuary. It's a great manga. I haven't heard of it. What's it about? Star Striker said Rivals is pretty fun. I've heard it's fun. And well, there are a lot of games that are fun games, but are just not my preferred genre. Like a lot of people love Overwatch, for example. But again, it's just not the type of game that I usually enjoy playing, but I'm tempted to try Marvel Rivals. Eglin says, I can only think of the Pokemon based on the dinosaur Cranidos and Rampardos. Queen says, Pachycephalosaurus. There we go. How could I have forgotten a name like Pachycephalosaurus? Atlantic says he dino in that clip was, it's supposed to be the dino. I thought you were doing a pun like he dino that dinosaur. And the clip was the Pachycephalosaurus. Squeeda says, I knew it because it was featured in the manga volume I just read. Star Striker says, Mecha Chameleon and Pokemon? Oh, you're playing also. Said, oh wow, I hadn't heard that. No, because a buddy of mine who's been playing a lot of it posted over on his Discord server and pinged everybody, and I saw that. I'm like, oh, gotta be careful. Magpie says, why would it be pronounced Mecha? Not that it's wrong, I genuinely don't know. It's because it's a Japanese name, and the extra C is because it has a little small su, which means you extend the subsequent, like the vowel sound, or excuse me, the consonant sound right after. So met, and then you extend the cha, or excuse me, the ka. But in order to extend the ka, you have to make it cha, or that's what I've heard. I'm probably wrong. So it's Mecha Chameleon, I think. But I heard that on the internet, and the internet lies. People sometimes do that. They go on the internet and just tell lies. Striker says, it was fun. Queen says, speaking of, I still want to say Mecha, but I'll say Mecha Chameleon. There's an account that is claiming to be the devs, but they are not the devs or associated with them, so be careful. Lol. Maybe that's tied into their Discord being hacked. Queen says, every tweet keeps getting community noted. Lol. She said apparently a map was quietly putting malware on people's computers. Also, the Discord got hacked. That's what it was. So yeah, it was like, I think it was like community added maps or something. Magpie said, did they fix the malware issue? Shira says, I don't know if it's fully resolved yet. Haven't been following it fully. So maybe it's safe if you use just the vanilla maps? Quiga says, so Dinosaur Sanctuary, I think Jurassic Park, but they actually do a good job of taking care of the dinosaurs, and it's Cozy Zoo. Aww! What Jurassic Park should have been if Dennis Nedry did not exist. Eglin said, told my friend that I found more Deadlock players. Star Striker said I play Overwatch religiously. And there's nothing wrong with it. I'm never gonna say like, it's a bad game. I would just say it's not my type of game. You know, it's not the type of game I particularly, because there's like many games that some people love that I just don't like playing. I don't like playing like base builders or resource management, esports games, things like that. I need to pause from Twitch for a second to read some YouTube chat because now I'm falling way behind over there. But I need to get caught up. I need to get caught up on both our chats. Yeah, so if you rated, I multi-stream. And so I'm behind in both chats. Let's see. Dermot said YouTube chat only said for half a stream. It said ... for half a stream during The Walking Dead. Oh, I remember that. Radiant says dead frowny. Dermot says I'm not either. I sell Yuri Cigs. I don't take your own product. Reveal said wait, dang, I have like 4 cents. Is that good? Dermot says I mean you pay for it in Yuri. Reveal said wait, am I in Yuri debt now? Dermot says reveal it. I don't like the implications that I'll drop the debt. And the Dermot says so-called English woman stole a poison. Oh, all the scare quotes. Reveal it says a so-called English woman stole a poison. All the words are potentially fraudulent. Dermot says it was, quote, it was all the English woman's doing. If I had a penny for every time that's been said, I'd be rich. I gotta scroll up. It's just scroll that way. I gotta breathe for a second too. I already forget to breathe sometime, but especially when I'm trying to catch up in chat. Dermot says, optimal stabbing height hole. I guess that's an accurate description. It was, especially for like right in her back there. Radiant says, I dost beg of thee, Logan, sometimes down the inevitable line, thou shouldst play Limbus Company. It is truly a masterpiece in cinema, and I do not regret getting it for mine own person. Can you tell me what genre it actually is? Because I don't even know that. Radiant says, sorry, that was really corny. No, I like old-timey talking for no reason. Dermot says, Radiant, I hope to love a game so much that one day I break it into Shakespearean English. Radiant says, fair. And Dermot says, okay, I hate when people say it's a placebo, it doesn't work. The whole point is they do, despite having no intrinsic effect. Well, it depends on what you're using it for. If you're using it to make that effect, then yes. If you're using a placebo as a control group in a study, then obviously it doesn't really necessarily. I mean, except for the placebo effect. It's weird like that. But it kind of, it's situational. Dermot says a star stalker, so an astronomer. So you're looking for a yandere, Logan? No, a nice person who's like, just like all the stalking is wanting to hang out a lot, not trying to kill me. Radiant says Limbus Company is like a GRPG. Wait, what's a GRPG? Is like, instead of a JRPG, it's like a German RPG? I don't know. Over on Twitch again, Eglin says, safe to say they're excited. Kaifi says, well, good night, LoganRobo and chat. Thank you for being here, Kaifi. Have a good rest of your night. Sheer said that account isn't an official game account. Kui says, yes, that's what I'm saying. Sheer said, which is funny. Kaifi says, I must away. Have a good night, Kaifi. Kui says, thank you for the very many memo stream. They're 3 hours, 6 minutes, and 2 seconds. I caught up to chat for the first time of the night on Twitch. So now... thank you, Toilet Duck. I will save. Have I saved recently? I don't know if I have saved recently. Let's save our game again. Save. Thank you, Toilet Duck. And I will one more time for any of the lurkers, anyone who didn't pay attention last time I said it, I'm going to give you several things. Oh, I didn't mean to press that button. I'm sorry, Judge. I'm not going to read what you said. First of all, I'm going to post our link tree, which I should have done earlier, and I'll cross-post it both on Twitch and YouTube. So if anyone's lurking, that link tree has all of our social media, including a Discord invite, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, all of that stuff. You can check it out, or you can ignore it. There's no pressure either way on any of it, but it is there should you feel so inclined to want to look up things. Also, our schedule, we stream Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Sundays. Not this Friday, however. That stream will be canceled, unfortunately, because I do have a work commitment, so it won't be going on that day. But that means tomorrow is Monday. I'll be posting the schedule. I'll officially talk about all that stuff then, so you can check that out at that time. And yeah, so that's gonna be good. Crap, am I forgetting anything? I don't know. I should pick a raid suggestion here. Looks like a lot of these raid suggestions have quite a few number of viewers already. Oh, and one of them is AFK. So I will just pick maybe this one. This one has a lot of viewers, but you know, we got a lot of people to send a raid. So let's go ahead and start populating a raid here. And here is our raid message for the Twitch side. Oh, looks like Vero beat me to it, but you can copy that over to your clipboard. But yes, we are needing to wind down for the night. I apologize. If you're able to stick around for the raid to head on over there, I would greatly appreciate it. But this person is doing some artwork. It looks like possibly 3D modeling art, which is kind of neat. Let's see. Kaivi says, I think Logan is describing a friend. By the way, what is this friend thing of which is, no, I have friends, but they're all busy with their own lives. Like they all have significant others and important things to do and can't just like come over and hang out. I feel like a stalker would make me the center focus of her life. I assume it's a girl. I'm just gonna headcanon it's a girl because that'd be even better. Shira says, took you long enough. Kaivi says, good night, Logan, robot man thing person. Magpie says, good night, Logan. Kaivi says, but beware of skeletons. Vera says, bye-bye, friends. Star Striker says, you have a great night. Thank you again for the raid, Star Striker. Thank you all for hanging out. Tonight was a weird night, but I had a lot of fun. I love and appreciate you all. Thank you, and I'll read the last couple of comments over on YouTube as well after we raid out here on Twitch. But thank you all. You're amazing. You're wonderful. You're a better community and a better group of friends than I deserve. I can never thank you enough for hanging out with me. I am so glad that I didn't cancel tonight's stream because I was worried about the sinus infection. I feel like my nose was a little gross a couple times, but it was worth it to hang out with you guys. You guys are the best. Have a wonderful Monday. We'll see you on Tuesday for some Deltarune, and then Thursday for more great Sturdy. Chris says night night. Yes, good night, everybody. Enjoy the raid. Bye, everybody. Bye. Bye, 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 bye. Okay, and we have rated out over on Twitch. So everyone over on YouTube, let's see, with there, I think some more comments over there. Let's see, Dermot says, Radiant cool. What does that mean? Radiant says, oh, gotcha RPG game with a bit of visual novel-esque gameplay. I am always hesitant of gotcha games, but I should look it up. Dermot says, oh my gosh, I really want to know what a German RPG would entail. I guess it's in German. Dermot says, I guess technically Persona 2. No, because he put sunglasses on the character. The character is no longer a famous German historical figure. Dermot says, sans glasses, of course. Radiant says, in summary, Limbus Company equals gambling visual novel RPG. And Dermot says, thank you, Logan, Freak Robo, for the stream slan. I hope I'm saying that right. I feel like I've never pronounced it right. But thank you so much. I love and appreciate all of you guys. Everyone on YouTube, you're amazing as well. Everyone on YouTube, everyone watching the VOD, good night as well.